We're less than a week away from the NFL draft, so it's a great time to do a 7-round mock draft. I am joined from Alex from HAILMARY Sports. You helped me this whole week putting together this sucker, and here we are, now ready to record it.
It's been a bit of a time in the works, but we're excited for this. You took NFC, I took AFC. For those y'all wondering, right. It's not a Jets jersey; it's a Reggie White jersey. I know that you were confused at the beginning. It's funny. You took the NFC and you're wearing Dolphins. I took the AFC and I'm wearing Philadelphia Eagles stuff.
Got to represent. Hey, I got Brady in the background somewhere, so. But we got a little twist on this. We're going to go over draft class by draft class because it's an easier way to consume this type of mock draft. But the other person's going to grade
this is
that mock draft. So
I fought for this one. So if you guys don't like it, then you can support him.
All right. So since I had the NFC, we're going to start with the West because the West always gets put at last. We're going to put it at first. We're switching things up.
Or it's just
and I'm going to start with the Arizona Cardinals? Question mark? I'm sorry, you were talking, so I went slow.
I was just saying it's an alphabetical order. That's the reason we are, not because they're getting preferential treatment to the NFC West.
Whatever. So I took Mikael Williams in the first round. Got a nice run stuffer because, I mean, you have Baron Browning, you have B.J. Ojulari, very much like pass rushing types, getting someone to pair up there with Sweat, and it buys you time to actually develop Williams. Carson Schwessinger in the second round, their linebacker position ain't great. It's not great. Wyatt Milam, he's going to be playing left guard for us. I'm not a big Evan Brown believer. And then Dorian Strong, just a good fit to the Gannon defense, gives you corner competition. Chim DK. Wide receiver, he's fast. He go boom, boom. He go fast. They need speed on that wide receiving core. And Miles Hinton is just really a project option at tackle. That's about it. It was a day 3 pick.
It is a day 3 pick. Well, while you transfer to the Denver Broncos, I will end up giving this draft probably a C. I hate to break it to you off the bat. I want a defensive interior pretty badly for Arizona Cardinals. That's the biggest thing I'm stuck on. I think that
Calais Campbell,
beef.
Dalvin Tomlinson.
You're talking about guys who should be 6 feet under, my guy. Like, I'm going to be honest. You need some youth. You need some girth. And this is the defensive interior class to do it. But yeah, no, big fan of Mikael, because of the upside there for the future. There's not a long-term option legitimately on the team for more than the next 2 years. I wish B.J. Ojulari were, but again, it's kind of like Miles Murphy. You can't exactly. What
gave me a C?
Because I did not like the fact I love Carson Schwessinger. He is an alumnus from my high school, so I'm going to support him. Do not think linebacker is above the defensive interiors we had there in round 2. Speaking of one of them, I'll be talking about it right here with the Denver Broncos. But
now let me ask real quick.
I did love Wyatt Milam.
Is this a basic A, B, C? No pluses, no minuses?
I'll give you a C+. How about that?
Let's not do pluses and minuses. It gets a little too complicated.
Well, I'll give you a C then.
Okay, give me that C plus, dude.
I was gonna be nice. All right, but whatever. We'll go to the Denver Broncos. I started out the draft by going Emeka Egbuka, hoping to get something in the running back core in round 2. You guys will see running backs got sniped and ended up getting a nice defensive interior weapon here for TJ Sanders, who he's been getting criminally underrated. I mean, just somebody that we've gotten prospect fatigue on. It's okay. It happens to the best of us. But in round 3, I knew we had to get some sort of running back weapon. And Dylan Sampson's a great home run hitter. I thought that value ended up at least making me feel a lot better. I'm getting the reliable receiver option in the first round. Then we got Aeneas Peebles there, a nice defensive interior as well to pair up with TJ Sanders. Both of them have different strengths and weaknesses, but Peebles especially is a great gap penetrator. And to me, he's one of those guys who could even start day 1 if you need him to. And then we got Luke Lachey. I wanted to get some sort of receiving tight end with a blocking foundation. Iowa kind of produces that. Unfortunately, injury has been more of what's held him back more than talent. So I like getting that good value there. Jake Majors is just the definition of a high floor center. Pretty poor arm length. Like I think it was about 30 1/4 inches, but regardless of that, he played very well with it. And I do think he'll be a very solid backup lineman for a while. And then Baron Sorrell provides a great run defense floor at edge. And I love that, especially when you end up pairing it with I'm forgetting who's the edge rusher they drafted in the 3rd round last year out of Utah.
Jonah Ellis.
No, yeah, Jonah Ellis. He has more of that pass rushing floor. I like Baron Sorrell to be that depth with the run defense floor. So I thought that ended up being a draft I actually really liked.
Yeah, I thought it was a solid class. Emeka Ibuka, does it feel rich at 20? It might, but not really, because it only feels rich because this wide receiver class. It's just you keep packing these wide receivers later and later and later.
Yeah.
Like Emeka Ibuka, phenomenal wide receiver. So I don't mind that. Peoples, you're higher on than I am, but we're in the 4th round.
Yeah.
I don't mind taking a shot on your guy.
Yeah.
I thought you filled in a lot of not necessarily like needs, but at the same time added depth. I like looking to the future on that defensive interior with Peoples, because they're going to have some free agents next season. I would give it a B, because nothing really blew my pants off.
Yeah.
Which is a common saying.
See, I'd give myself a B as well, even though you were very much against giving our own grades for draft classes.
I was very against this. All right, I think I'm gonna go to the Seahawks. I think I like the Seahawks draft.
Okay.
All right, so Seahawks, baby. Kenneth Grant. I'm like, you know what? Screw offensive line. We're getting some meat in the middle. That way, Byron Murphy doesn't have to spend time playing in the nose. Just have that guy, hey, go pin your ears back and get after it, son. Jonas Avenea, he's my guard. If Abraham Lucas goes down, he has right tackle experience. You can kick him at right tackle. Sabanea has experience on both sides of the offensive line. It's perfect. Maxwell Harrison's just really good value. You have the character sussiness from like 4 years ago. Doesn't sound like the NFL is going to be too worried about it. So, and I guess that closed just recently.
Yeah.
So kind of exceptional value for a guy like this at 52. 82, I think taking a shot on Charles Grant, who probably profiles better as a tackle, but
he's like
in a wide zone blocking scheme, the dude can move. He can fly. So we're just grabbing more offensive line help. Kyle Kernard was just kind of best value available. Like, you know what? I'll go ahead. I'll take another shot on an edge. The Seahawks like to do that. Then literally the remainder of this draft was just me drafting some of my favorite guys. Ty Felton, nice speedster, can create after the catch. Nick Martin, sure, he's short. He's not long, but golly, he flies around. Just give me that energy. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt has had a strong just Shrine Bowl week.
Yeah.
Probably would have had a big year if the NCAA wasn't, douchebags. And then Joshua Gray, legitimately, he might be tall, but legitimately could probably play center here, or at least challenge. And if anything, he has that versatility to play guard, tackle. And we're talking about a late round pick here. Joshua Simon, the dude blew up the combine. I'll take a shot on that late day 3, that tight end where you have Noah Fant. So, let me have it, Alex. Give it to me.
I'll do a little bit more of what you did, but even though I kind of like giving the grade off, I'll give the grade off the bat. That's my style.
Give it to me off the bat.
I'll give it a B. I think that. Okay, so let me explain. I'm a lot lower on some of the players than you are. If I took it from your perspective, I'd probably give it, if we were doing the minuses, probably an A-. So I like that you address the offensive line, nose tackles well to free up Byron Murphy to do his thing. I love boundary corner. I love getting a project tackle. I actually really like the Kyle Kennard pick. That was arguably my favorite pick that you did, like for the value, because you can never get too many edge rushers. The value is great. Ty Felton, you and I are both a fan of. So, I mean, it's a little bit high for the consensus, but I think it's perfectly fine. Nick Martin is super fun. I personally love the idea of him going with McDonald. And even though he has limitations, smart defensive coaches know how to mitigate those. Krosky-Merritt is a really good RB3. And then I'm just not a fan of Josh Gray, but it's 223. Who gives a crap? And I actually like Josh Simon. So it's just like I'm a lot lower on Sabanea and Max Hairston than you are. And Max Hairston, not just for the off field. I'm just not the biggest believer in him on the field. And then, but I mean, I thought it was good.
Okay. Where are we going next, Alex? Where are we going next?
Let's end up going to the Chargers. Let's go to Chargers.
Going to the Chargers.
Chargers.
We're going to LA.
Going back to LA. I mean, if I really
I might as
wanted
well
to,
do the Rams next then.
yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, if I really wanted to, during the draft, I'll probably do this because I have so many jerseys. Because whenever you get like, if you guys ever want jerseys for cheap, just go to Dick's Sporting Goods or NFL Shop. They always have them on clearance. But it's like I'm gonna like wear a different jersey for every time I have a team associated with one of my jerseys. I was gonna say I could do that here because I have a Bosa jersey now. But anyways, let's talk about the draft class. Start out by getting some good edge help with Donovan Ezeraku. You just need actual consistent youth at edge, and pairing Ezeraku and Tuimalau sounds good to me for the long run. Like, I don't think you have to really worry about it. Maybe you want to get some extra flash in there as time goes on, but I wouldn't be stressing about it. I ended up getting
they have Khalil Mack.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm saying for the long haul, but I'm saying
I get what you're saying.
Some flash because right now Tuimalau and Ezeraku are a little bit more of those floor guys more than the ceiling, but. You got Io Maynor as well in round 2. I just want to get consistency on the boundary, and I love the idea of being able to allow our beautiful Lad McConkey stay in the slot if he wants to. I know tight end's a big issue for this team. A lot of people are down on Harold Fannin. The fact is, his 2 toughest games this year were arguably his best versus Penn State and Texas A&M, and they knew that he was the primary option for Bowling Green. I think he's going to be a stud. I honestly think he's extremely underrated at this point. Who cares if he's not fast in a straight line? You don't use tight ends very often as a vertical threat. So I would say you're going to be perfectly fine there. I want to get some beef on the interior as well. I'm very high on Yaya Black. He has 35-inch arms. He is a nightmare for interior offensive linemen with some potential anchor concerns to deal with. And I personally love what he brings to the table. He looks really, really good in Mobile. So I'm a fan of that. Then I wanted to be able to get a longer-term option in case Najee doesn't work out, or if you just want to have pretty much some redundancy there with Najee, and getting Kyle Monangai. He's somebody who I think is a day one starter if he goes to a team that doesn't have a Najee Harris. That he can beat out Najee Harris if he wanted to, but at 158, the value is incredible. He's pretty much a bowling ball who just bounces off people. 181, I love Willie Lampkin here. He might be 5'10", but you can use him as a fullback if you wanted to, but I actually think he's just really good depth on the offensive line. He flashed in Mobile. Jared Ivey, you just get some extra defensive interior and edge flexibility, which I personally think always has value. And then I want to get a little bit of juice. So I got my running back duo of the future here with Monangai and Nathan Carter. Nathan Carter is a top 10 running back for me. He's fantastic. Put up over 100 yards versus Michigan. Go and watch that game yourself. And then I ended up wanting to get some redundancy for depth at wide receiver because I think this team needs it. LeJonte Wester, he's very punchy, but he is in the 160-pound range. That's the only issue with him. But, again, redundancy for Lad McConkey. And then Warren Brinson, honestly, he ended up flashing quite a bit. He was in Dallas, I believe, right? Warren was in Dallas. He was at the Shrine. Yeah. He ended up popping off to me. I didn't see him before that, but he actually looked pretty good in 1-1 reps. Worth taking the shot.
Okay. Like, all in all, I don't mind them going edge for it. Like, I honestly think Chargers should go BPA.
Yeah.
At pick 22 anyway. You got Manor out of Stanford. Manor. It's
You were the one who got on my ass in summer scouting saying it's Io Manor.
I know, and I corrected you like months ago where I was like, yeah, I just found out the new pronunciation for it.
Okay, Manor. That makes it even worse. I like Io Manor.
Yeah.
It sounds like a baller. But
Fannon's fun. Okay. Like, it's a good draft.
How do you
class.
not like
a lot
Fannin?
To play with?
That's just insane.
I do like Fannin.
How high? Where's he roughly on your board?
On my board?
Because I can guarantee you were like top 64 on him before the hate started coming out.
He's at 68.
There you go. Okay, well, yeah, he's like, he's fun. That's usually what you say when you don't like a pick.
I guess Will Disley's your inline guy, so I suppose you could use Fannin for a lot of fun. So I don't mind that. You had a lot of picks, and I think you addressed a lot of things.
C grade.
No, I was gonna give it a B. I thought it was solid. Yeah, I thought it was a solid class. I like Ezeraku. I like
I almost gave it a C.
I like Fannin.
Okay. I don't self-graded a C.
I mean, you got pass catch and help for Herbert. You got a big meaty boy on the defensive interior because honestly, that defensive line probably needs to take a shot or two.
Yeah,
in this class, Kyle Monangai is fun. Like Nathan Carter, I think is good. Like solid value here for the type of athlete you're getting. I mean, so is Jared Ivey. Didn't test well, but should be pretty good in that system.
The tight end merchant.
Yeah, took a couple of shots on guys. I thought it was fine. I thought it was good.
Here's the reason why I give myself a C. It would be like a C plus.
You're a douche, Alex. We know this.
This is why Draft Bros was supposed to be called Douchebag Sports. But I will just say I thought I got a bunch of role players, not necessarily legit impacts, unless we have guys like Benungai, Carter end up really stepping up. I don't know if it's a super long-term thing, but I like the players. It's just when you're talking about future implications, might be you're kind of rolling the dice.
Yeah. So with the Los Angeles Rams, we're going to stay in the same city. Colson Loveland, 26, home run pick. This is a win now team, in my opinion. Not to say they're not building for the future, but I think in the first round, you would like an immediate impact player.
Yeah.
And Loveland is that guy. The next few picks aren't necessarily immediate impact, but that's because your next pick isn't until 90. Tyler Shuck. Listen, he's got tools. He maybe can push Jimmy G as the backup, potentially. I figured why not take a shot on a more seasoned guy than some of the other guys that were. I think maybe Quinn Ewers was the only other guy, maybe Milrow.
We took a lot of the guys off the board.
Yeah. Cameron Williams, developmental tackle, maybe your right tackle of the future with Heavenstein getting up there in years. Zoff Frazier, he's probably not going to start immediately, but there's not a lot of depth in that cornerback room. And with his tools, maybe.
Yeah.
I got Kane Madrano. I got one of the fastest, if not the fastest linebacker in this class, at least from a testing perspective, former track athlete. And I figured if this team's going to be running out consistently like one linebacker because they're throwing 5 guys on the line, give me the fastest one to play linebacker. Elijah Roberts was just good value. Didn't really want to pass up on him. Jalen Lane gives them a bit of a vertical element, probably to the slot. 2-2s on a 1-year deal. So to me, that kind of made sense. And Malachi Moore is just, golly, that's fun. Him just being there was good value. And I think Cam Curl's on the final year of his deal. So now, Alex, give me that F.
You ready for it?
Yeah, I'm ready for it.
I'd be itching for an A. But I'm gonna go B. Yeah, I'm gonna go B. Here's the reason why. You have to take into context the picks themselves. I'm not a huge fan of the Shuck move. I understand it 100%. But Loveland is basically a better Colby Parkinson. Also, shout out to another Oaks Christian Lion. Cam Williams is the long-term right tackle, which you need to have something at long-term for the right tackle. Zoff Frazier, I ended up I don't know why it took me so long to get to UTSA's tape. Maybe because Caddies ended up taking a hot minute to get it out. But he's someone who's a top 100 player for me. And I love the potential of him going even to safety as well with that range and the zone IQ. Madrano, honestly, keep him in LA at 190. You're getting a really good playmaker. Forgetting about the other picks that you did. Elijah Roberts, excellent value. And with the stunts they do, I actually think he could legitimately get certain reps. And Jalen Lane's perfect. Like, you're getting a potential starter at 201 with him in year 2. So I'd be saying B+, but I mean, I'd be itching for the A.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair because it's not like they had a lot of premium picks to work with.
I don't know if we had Demetrius Knight at 90. I don't think we did. But if he were there, that would be my move. But besides that, no.
I'm sure we'll find out eventually.
I know that we'll find out eventually. It's just what we remember when we end up talking about it. That's a little bit more.
Where do you want to head next?
Let's go to Vegas. It's close enough.
Vegas.
The letters. You know what's cool, by the way? It's not showing when you're scrolling through the list. I don't know if you're seeing that. So it actually just pops up, which is cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I was worried about it looking a little wonky. But for the Raiders, again, this is kind of what we would do. So I just want to emphasize that off the bat because I know Will Johnson's not going to go at 6. But the corner core eviscerated. I wanted to get someone who I think is the best player in the class when healthy. At number 37, I ended up pairing backup Quinshon Judkins with Chip Kelly. They need a running back, 3-down back. I'm a fan of it. We got an ex-wide receiver at 68 with Trey Harris as well. As long as the medicals stay good, he's going to be great. By the way, Jalen Milrow was available at pick 90. And so I took him at 108 because
I brought up that Milrow was available at 90.
Oh, I thought you said only yours. But regardless, I mean, I would have went Milrow over Shuck. I have him graded higher. But
Milrow can't start now, though.
He cannot.
I think Shuck could at least be a competent backup.
I agree. But Jalen Milrow also, I think, could use a mentor like Geno Smith. I really like the development curve for him to potentially even start. So that's actually probably the pick I'd want at pick 90 for you. At 143, Pooh Paul Jr., Chris Paul, linebacking core needed some actual help. Chris Paul, honestly, really, really good value. Probably will be a day 2 pick on draft day. But Xavier Restrepo, even though he can't run vertical routes very well, if you look at the speed metrics for him running the pretty much any other route except a vertical, he runs pretty damn smoothly, pretty damn fast percentage-wise. And it kind of feels like you're getting some redundancy in the slot. But, I mean, you're kind of getting another Hunter Renfrow, essentially, with Restrepo. Just high floor, not really flashy.
On a side note, Restrepo ran one of the fastest gauntlets.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, when he's not just running a 40 or a seam, he is really on point. So I'm not even against Restrepo. I never thought he was like a really great fast athlete, but it's just, I'm not saying that, oh, I knew it. No, like he ran much slower than I expected, but it was like, I never loved him for the speed. So it's good to see him where he's at. Jabbar Muhammad, really good dude. Got to meet him in Dallas, got to be able to talk with him as well. Like, short legs, short arms. That's the big issue, but the guy's physical as hell. He is a gritty dude. And I mean, you look at him versus Ohio State, I thought he did actually phenomenally well, especially given now that we know the metrics, but didn't test well, isn't built well. Is he going to be the Bucky Irving from Oregon this year? But at corner, maybe. I still have faith in him. To me, I think he's just around 100 on my board, but that's because I'm like absurdly high on Jabbar Muhammad. Then we got Jay Higgins. He didn't test well. He's not built well, but he just plays well. Worth taking a shot at 215. And then Xavier Truss. I just wanted to get some athleticism on the offensive line. Can play guard, can play tackle. Hoping that he could just end up staying at guard, though, even though he's 6'7".
Yeah, like all in all, like, the Will Johnson pick's always going to be interesting. Because it's a roll of the dice that he's 2023 Will Johnson, healthy Will Johnson.
I mean, even versus USC this year, he looked really good.
Yeah, and I think that's fine. You know, I'm still willing to say I believe in that guy.
Yeah,
like Quinshon Judkins, he wasn't going to be there at 68. Get to reunite him and Chip Kelly, that's nice. Trey Harris is fine. Again, you get to this point of the wide receiver class, and you kind of want to take types.
Yep.
Jalen, I don't mind Jalen Milroe. Shoot, if you're going to have him work on his ball placement,
who's better?
Geno Smith's the guy.
There are some better, but like the ones wanting to draft Jalen Milroe.
But I mean, I think he's been in the top 2 or 3 the last 3 years. It's kind of nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple of these other guys, I feel like, you're kind of betting against the grain.
Yeah.
Again, with like Higgins,
the last
Muhammad, Restrepo. And I don't mind Restrepo.
Yeah.
Mind me saying, but those are all mid to late day 3 picks. I don't mind if you like the players, take them. Like, I like Higgins. At the very least, he's going to be a good special teamer. I think I would stick with B.
Were you
tossing it? Huh?
Were you between C and B or A and B? Oh, okay. Yeah. I was going to say, like, based on the Chris Paul and Jalen Milroe picks, especially, I would lean B+. But I know that you're doing the solid letters. That's what I was saying. Like, I'm also self-scouting.
Solid letters, dude. Letter grades.
Have you given anything but a B yet? No,
I haven't.
This is why we need the pluses and minuses, my guy. Gives it a little bit of a differentiation. It feels so bad to give someone a C, and it feels too much to give an A.
Not for me. I knew it wasn't a C, but I was like, man, I don't know if there was something that really, like, I came out like, golly, that's freaking amazing. I don't know how we did that.
Well, I mean, that's because we know, because we're the ones making the picks. So it's gonna be very hard to get a holy shit kind of thing happening.
I don't know, because I think in the first day of the video is gonna be right here. So with the San Francisco 49ers,
yeah, it is
Walter Nolan and then James Pierce.
Yeah,
listen, I hope he's not a douche. I hope he's less of a douche. Shanahan, Robert Saleh, get that dude in order. Big improvement to the pass rush. Anthony Belton was kind of a flex play. Maybe he's a tackle. Maybe he ends up a guard. I think that's fine. They need depth in the trenches. Danny Stutzman, I think he's like my linebacker 3 or 4. I mean, I could look. Legitimately, my rankings are right.
You're like, I'm like, just look at the board.
Yeah, right. He's my linebacker 3. So I like getting that at pick 100. Greenlaw's gone. I wanted some competition for D winners. Quincy Riley, I thought was a good value. And I don't get why other mocks have the Niners going corner so early.
I mean, I do. It's because
Maybe
the boundary corner situation is kind of ass.
How?
But
They
you did
got
a good
Green
job.
and they got Lenore.
Lenore's in the slot, my guy.
Lenore kicks into the slot.
Yeah, but he's like, I mean,
But
what?
then they have Trey Brown, who's fine.
That's the point. Like, fine doesn't really cut it in the
I
NFL
look at their
with elite
trenches,
receivers.
and it's like, dude, that's so much more dire. Their trenches suck.
I mean, if you see the value there, I'm not saying that you should be going after like Trey
you.
Amos at 11 type shit.
I got you.
Yeah.
Well, I got that corner anyway. Quincy Riley.
Well, I mean, I took the guys
shot.
I normally go at 6, so that's what I'm saying. That's why I would.
Like, Gojo wants to get. He knows his Chiefs are about to be up. That's what
I know. Like I'm ready to talk about the Chiefs, but that's why I would say like boundary corner. If you have a Will Johnson on the board at 11, is why I'd say go early. Or if like Trey Amos is there at 43, and JPJ is not, then you could talk about it.
So Tyron Ingram Dawkins is just kind of a big body, really good athlete. Was asked to wear multiple hats at Georgia. Get him in here and see if you could develop him. Brashard Smith. It gives you a pass catching option out of the backfield. Clay Webb, some more of that depth there on the offensive line, whether it's at center or guard. Jalen Conyers. I don't mind tight end depth. Kittle can't play forever. Justin Wally is a late day pick, along with Jarquez Hunter. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take some of the best players on the board. Hunter happened to be one. I know it's double dip at running back, but to be fair, this was a banged up running back core last year.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, I mean, this is the A territory. I would lean A- for what happened on day 3, but I mean, it's very hard to say anything about it. Walter Nolan, I mean, I'd prefer a trade back given the potential concerns over maturity, but you pair that up with James Pierce, who also has personality concerns. We'll see if mixing 2 guys who have potential character concerns is going to be an issue. Honestly, my 2 favorite picks were Stutzman and Belton, though. I'm a huge guy in Belton. You know this. So I think he can immediately start. Yeah, he literally is. What's funny is I'll send you the picture. I literally have nearly the same size calves as Anthony Belton. I shit you not. I don't know how it's possible. Like Jesus built me that way, but
you heard it here first. Alex is thick.
I mean, you can see the pictures, but Jesus Christ, man. But regardless, I think you play left guard right away. If you want to, he can even play. He took right tackle reps in the Senior Bowl, so could be your answer there. And then Danny Stutzman, I have him as my linebacker 3 as well. He actually might be my linebacker 2. But regardless, he is a fantastic high floor linebacker for a team that absolutely loves their linebacking core. And then Quincy Riley on top of that, the value was spectacular. You get someone like Brashard Smith, who's a home run hitter there on day 3. Like you do need to have some redundancy there. And I thought that like overall hard to say that there's legitimately anything wrong because unlike the Chargers draft, you got impact a lot rather than just like pure depth.
Yep.
I'm shitting my own draft.
It's all right. I'm sure I have a few of those in here too. Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah. So the Chiefs, I started off by going Josh Simmons. Him falling to that point. He's my number 4 player in the class before getting hurt. Sometimes you just got to take the swing on that. And I also do believe he has the ability to kick into guard. So regardless of whether Jalen Moore ends up being Jalen Moore from like this past year or the Jalen Moore that we kind of see from the contract he just got, you have an answer. So I really do like that. And then even if Jalen Moore ends up being a stud, you're probably not in the mood to pay $30 million a year, which maybe that would be the case if he's a stud. So you have your long-term answer, either guard or tackle, which I think is good value at 31. CJ West at 63. It's a little bit rich, but for me, I love the character. Got to also meet him at the Shrine Bowl. So really, really good locker room dude. Honestly, the nicest guy I've ever interviewed. But also somebody who is punchy. He's about 320 pounds. So you can end up using him at a nose position in certain odd packages. You can use him even like he has the athleticism to where you can kick him out. If you really want to get ballsy, which I know Spags gets ballsy from time to time. He tested out very well at the combine. Then you got Cam Scatabo, which is Isaiah Pacheco, but kind of like White. He just runs like he's a savage, man. He sheds contact. He runs with an absolute mean streak. And then you got Marcus Bowe, friend of the show. Love him to death. But also has that guard center flexibility that is going to be good depth there, or could be the starter. Then later on day 3, we got Kyman Rucker, which Kyman Rucker, he's just been lost in the wind because he got hurt. But 2 games after he got hurt and came back, the dude ended up having like a 96 PFF defensive grade game because he put up like 12 pressures. The guy's a beast. I mean, he's a mismatch. He's a little bit undersized at like 6'2", but he ends up being 260, 265. So he has the frame for it. And then, he's been a mismatch. He's just a high floor edge rusher that I think is great value, 133. Then you skip down to 226. You get Isaac Tesla. And I mean, talk about a big vertical slot. Not a bad option at 226 for a physical freak. Jason Marshall was incredible value as well. Got hurt and then ended up just not looking all that inspiring at the Shrine Bowl. But one of those players who has multiple years starting, and I mean, SEC program, actually looks pretty solid in terms of zone IQ as well. Maybe could be a safety convert, but at the end of the day, you're getting a very good player. And then you get a receiving back, because I ended up getting more of a power running back with Scatabo. You get Woody Marks. So explosive, really good receiving back. And, you need that on a team that kind of lacks that ability.
Nice. I actually kind of like this class, especially some of these shots at the end. Yeah. Tesla, you're kind of banking on he's going to be a better pro than college player. Jason Marshall at one point was a highly expected draft
he's
prospect.
Supposed to be like a round 2, round 1 guy.
Yeah, I love me Woody Marks. I do feel like Scatabo it feels a little luxury, right? Feels a little luxury, but
you are picking at 31, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, any team needed it could do luxury. It was probably going to be the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Bo Simmons, I like those options at guard and tackle. West, like you mentioned, might be a little rich at that pick, but for what you're looking for, it's not a bad option. I think this might be the C.
I was going to say I'd give it a C+, because I'm not a huge fan of 63 and 66. The rest of the draft I really like, but those are 2 pivotal picks, which I think CJ West will be a defensive interior 3 for probably the next 8 years.
Yeah.
You might love that. 63 might not. And then Scatabo, there's some questions there.
So where do you want to move next, on a side note? Do you want to go north, south, east?
Let's go east. Let's yo-yo it across the country. Just fucking sling it.
Let's go it. All right. What
Eagles fans have been waiting?
All right. I guess we're starting with the Eagles.
Let's go.
All right. Here we go. So pick 32. I took Derek Harmon.
Yeah.
It was great value. It's kind of that Milton Williams Band-Aid. That way you're not just relying on Moro Ajamo. Ariante Ursary felt like the best value at 64. This could be your heir apparent for Lane Johnson at some point. Jonas Sanker, I was specifically looking for safety with a little thump to him. He's got that thump. He was available there. Gunnar Helm. The tape's good, and I mean his workout, he got hurt. I expect him. I think he's a better athlete than that. Just gonna throw that out there. Got to be looking to the future with Dallas Goedert, which already was kind of talked about as a potential guy that could get moved. I guess we'll see. And then Savion Jones. This is kind of like, for me, like a Brandon Graham type. That's how I would utilize him if I were the Eagles. And then Jordan James was just good value. Get a running back there that can compete with, I guess, Will Shipley. I don't believe in A.J. Dillon. So we're talking backups, of course. Cody Simon, linebacker depth. Elijah Badger, he's my guy. My guy. This team's been looking for that guy that can play in the slot. Jahan Dotson was all right last year. Okay. I think Badger, I don't know if Badger competes, but it's pick 168. I'm going to take a shot on my guy. So this is their last pick. Let's do it.
I would give this one probably a B-, and I love the first 3 picks. Like, I love them. Derek Harmon, instant fit, great arm length. I mean, it's a clear vision for what he's going to do. Ursary, I said it to himself in Mobile, go to Stout U. So this is literally my dream destination for him to grow for the next year or two to be Lane's replacement, could be a guard in the short run, which I think would be pretty good for him to get that experience. Jonas Anchor is a dream fit for me on the Eagles. I'm going to take credit for the fact that I at least recommended it when we were doing the draft, because Jonas Anchor is my safety 4, and I'm a huge fan of what he could do there for Philly. Not a big Gunnar Helm guy myself, but
that's fair. It was 134.
Right, it's 134. It's better than Grant Calcaterra. And that's me, a SMU alum, saying that. Savion Jones, I see the vision. I'm just not a big Savion Jones guy. Jordan James, I prefer more of a power back. And so, like, to be able to replace AJ Dillon. But Jordan James is someone who I have in my top 120. Cody Simon, you got to go for some linebacker help. And I actually like Elijah Badger quite a bit. So I would just say my biggest concern is you didn't address corner at all. I think it needs.
They're fine.
They're not.
They're fine, dude.
They're not.
What's our roster look like?
In my humble opinion, they are not. Their boundary corner 2 situation is pretty dire. Unless you're kicking Coop to the boundary, which I don't think they will, since he is proven to be elite in the nickel, which is very valuable to Vic. But like, I'm not having Keely Ringo or Dory Jackson doing anything on the boundary. I'm just gonna be honest.
Okay. All right.
Like, we have Jalen Smith, I think, available at like Gunnar Helm's pick. It's like, I know you're lower on him, but yes. I would just say that's a Vic Fangio type corner.
Okay. So where would you go? Where do you want to go next?
Oh, where do I want to go? So I'm going to be doing the AFC East. Let's talk about your Dolphins.
Fins up, baby. Fins up.
I'm wearing Eagles. You're wearing Dolphins. Let's go back to back. All right. So started out safety core. Ass. We go Malachi Starks. Fix that issue up pretty quickly in terms of safety 1. Defensive interior is a position that's been kind of neglected. And I know we're saying offensive line. We'll talk about it in just a second. Darius Alexander, this front office is kind of in win now mode. I think you'll agree with this, Monsieur Schmo. Like, there is a bit of disappointment with what's been happening. Like, this team should be doing better. Guys are not, like, your draft position is not representative of what people think you should be. And so there is an emphasis on winning sooner. And Darius Alexander, minus the age, is a first-round player. So I think that's incredible value there. And because he's so flexible, he even took some edge reps in Mobile. He's someone who could play that Calais Campbell role for you. So I love that flexibility there. But Luke Hander, to me, he's someone who will be probably taken on day 3. He is someone who I think could start off the bat. He is one of the highest floor run defenders, run blockers, and one of the best anchors in the class. He's not the most elite athlete out there, but he actually, Cincinnati had quite a few zone concepts that he looked really, really good on in terms of walling off like run lanes in zone runs. He might have been the best offensive lineman in the class. I have not seen someone wall off wide zone runs the way that this guy does. So even though the athleticism doesn't say he's the best at it, I honestly think he's fantastic. Denzel Burke, I mean, especially with the news of Jalen Ramsey, which is, I think, did that happen by the time I think it was like mid-recording this, like we were talking
Might have
about.
been.
So regardless of that, Denzel Burke's incredible value. And he's someone who probably should have been a first-round pick. And the testing says maybe something was off. So maybe the medicals will push him to this point. With Tyreek Hill being a big question mark, even though Tez didn't test out that well, you look at the gauntlet drill, he ran extremely fast for, what you're actually looking for. I like that explosiveness there. Quarterback, kind of know. Also, these wide receivers are used to a like leftward spinning ball. Dylan Gabriel is going to continue that trend there, and you pair him back up with Tez Johnson for the future. Safety is still an issue, and also boundary corner. I ended up going with Mac McWilliams here, who is a top 50 player on my board. Super high zone IQ. You can use him as a safety. You can use him as a corner. I do not care. And then Bryce Cable is a very athletic tackle who could be kicked into guard, but really good project there from Kansas at 224. Jake Brenningstool, you pretty much are just going to use him. I mean, hell, he's going to be someone who I think could stick to your roster at 231. Really good route runner. Maybe not the best athlete in the world, but pretty reliable even with his small hands. And then get some extra edge depth there with Johnny Walker. I just went BP at 253.
Okay. So I don't mind Starks at 13. Our safety room's not great.
It's not.
Darius Alexander, I'd probably prefer to go guard or corner here. That'd probably be my preference.
Do you have well, I mean, again, we've recorded day 1 and 2 before the Jalen Ramsey part. So day 3 is where we really addressed it. But do you not believe in Luke Kandra?
I don't. Not as a starter.
Yeah, there's a difference. Yeah. It's like me with Savania, you with Kandra.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I would much prefer Savania.
I would not.
Yeah, Denzel Burke's interesting. Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of tough to like fully trust these day 3 corners in general, but I mean, someone's got to work, right? At least Denzel Burke, he had some hype coming into the year somewhat, or even the year before. I like Tez for this offense. That's just fun. Yeah. That's just fun. I like Dylan Gabriel for this offense. It's better than Zach Wilson. Maybe Miami could finally, their moms can go out and
dude, he is racking up his body count there. I mean, he's not living according to the BYU ways. I'll just say.
So Mac Williams is one of my guys, like Mac McWilliams. I like him. I like him.
We've talked like a billion hours, and not once have we truly like bonded over Mac McWilliams.
Yeah, right. I think he's a good fit for Anthony Weaver's defense too. In just quarters heavy.
Yeah.
How do you say this?
Cable do. I mean, don't trust me on the full pronunciation, but I just say cable do.
Okay. Regardless, I was kind of shocked he tested as well as he did. I thought he moved all right, but not like.
That's because he's next to freaking Logan Brown, who's also a freak.
Which is probably fair. It's probably fair.
Yeah, it's comparison analysis or comparative analysis.
And then it's some like late day threes. Like I think this is a fine class. Like it's just things I don't love about it. I'd probably call it a C.
I'd be giving it a B. But I mean, in retrospect, knowing what would have happened, probably at 48, I would have won a corner. And then at 98, I believe a lot in Luke Kandra. If you believed in Luke Kandra, would you give it a higher grade?
Probably, but it's just I think he's fine depth. I like him better on day 3.
What don't you like about Luke Kandra?
So I might as well just pull up my analysis. But so he's got this nice little like stocky build, right?
Yeah, great anchor.
And I feel like he moves well for that build. I don't think he's like a crazy mover. Then again, I think his testing was actually pretty darn good. Oh no, it was fair. It was fine. His explosive numbers, golly. And then like he was strong on he had 32 inches in the vert and 114 in the broad.
I didn't even know that, if I'm going to be honest. Yeah. I'm just saying tape-wise, he's semi-underwhelming as an athlete.
I mean, the first things I say about him is movement skills, good, active hands, wide body. Then let me look at the negatives. Contact balance and looks stronger, should play stronger. So
I agreed with that. I think I ended up talking about how his arms collapsed quite a bit whenever he engaged. I thought he was a lot stronger than what he played like.
Yeah,
he has a starting guard. That's my thing. I think the anchor and then just his comfortability with zone concepts and gap concepts made me a lot more confident.
Okay, where to next, Mr. Alex?
To your team.
It's me.
Yeah,
I'm asking your opinion.
Well, I mean, you got mad at me for saying the Eagles. I would say the Cowboys, but you never know.
Screw the Cowboys. We're going to the Giants.
There we go. See, I knew it. N is close to M, so I get it.
Yeah. So I looked. I don't know if this is how it sounds like. It probably won't happen this way now, but I think regardless, if you stick at 3, if it's Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, you're going to feel like a big winner. Yeah. Hunter obviously ticks a few more boxes in terms of the needs. So that worked out really well. I still think they're going to be in the market for taking a quarterback somewhere, whether that's on day 2 or maybe day 3. Someone to throw on the practice squad or be that emergency third quarterback, someone to develop, at least inspire a little bit of hope. Jackson Dart's going to be the guy. He's going to be the guy. But Tate Ratledge, I think, immediately comes in and should compete with Greg Van Roten. So in my mind, 2 out of your 3 picks should be instant starters. And you can make a case for like Ty Robinson, who's just stupid strong and like stupid explosive. Very straight line, no lateral ability.
No.
But I think that works next to Sexy Lexi. Dexy.
I was like, Sexy Lexi. That's my nickname. That's my nickname for my car, actually.
It's the Lawrence part. It messed me up.
Yeah. I was like, all right.
So Jackson Slater is someone I'm just higher on than the general consensus. I like whether he's ends up at center or guard. John Michael Schmitz hasn't been as safe as a prospect or high floor as a prospect as we thought he would be. I think he's been very Josh Myers. So take that for what you will. Tootin just gives this team a home run threat in the backfield. Like legit burner speed. Isaiah Nair, they've taken like shots on like Bryce Ford Whedon, these long, explosive, fast athletes at wide receiver. So hey, why not take a shot on Nair, who tested out phenomenally and just looked like a different human being at the Shrine. At least I think that's what you were saying.
Yeah.
Then Lindenberg, special teamer at the very least, and could be good depth.
I ended up clicking my computer to do a fucking screenshot. I was like, ugh. Well, for me, I'd be giving this one a C. Yeah. So the reason you got Travis is because I took Abdul. So you can blame it all on me. So, and it also wasn't what we would do for the most part. We had some realism blended into it, of course. But Trav, love that. Dart, don't believe in him. Personally, I would just prefer, I know that it's realistic for them to go QB, so I understand. I know that you're higher on Dart, but I'm just not. Ratledge, big fan of that pick. Robinson, just gonna be honest, I have him pretty solidified as a like 5th round pick. He's fun athlete, undersized, no lateral mobility. Jackson Slater, I really liked him. There's no all 22 for Sacramento State, so I don't have an official grade on him, but I would probably have him in that 4th to 5th round range. Understandable there, continuing to get some offensive line depth. Scroll down. Like I'll talk about Beischel Tootin there as well. Like my only concern with Beischel, it's a good value at 154, absolutely, but the fumble is just giving me a big pause. Regardless if you're a combine monster or not, like turnovers is how momentum shifts in the NFL a lot more than not. But at 154, I mean, you're taking somebody who probably is going to be an RB3 or 4. Isaiah Nair, I thought he looked really good at the Shrine Bowl. He definitely struggled to get consistency, but he ended up being able to shine in one-on-ones. And then Lindenberg, good value there. But yeah, I mean, you should be getting a impact player at number 3. I would say Ratledge was the one that I probably liked the most for the value.
Okay, interesting.
I would say if my job's on the line, I'd be concerned.
Okay.
I don't know if this keeps my job. All right, so here with the New York Jets, we start out, get Armand Membu at pick 7. Love that. Right tackle, a big need. Also, similar development curve and needs as Olu Fashanu in terms of that athletic profile and, mechanics issues / room for growth. Then at number 42, I wanted to get something good for the boundary. Ben Morrison, before his injury, was player number 3 for me in the entire class. Loved him to death, but he was a top 10 player for most people until he got hurt. The question is, how big of an issue is that hip? That's going to be determined on draft day. Terrence Ferguson was my pick at 73. The question is at number 7, is it going to be Membu or is it going to be Tyler Warren? And I always say go after the higher player on offensive line and then pray that a weapon gets better, because it's very hard for you to hit on an offensive lineman later on and just going a weapon earlier. It just, I prefer to roll the dice on a weapon than and go for a little more of a sure thing on the offensive line if you have that big of an issue. At number 110, you got Shamar Turner there, who is really, really good value. A lot of people have him even into their 2nd round. He is extremely explosive, edge flexibility, but I do think he ends up staying on the defensive interior. And at 110, I mean, the value is impeccable for someone who should be getting some good reps there. At 145, I thought that we needed to potentially get more of a Jared Goff-esque type quarterback. So I ended up going after Kyle McCord there, and the value, again, I like him more than Tyler Shuck for the value, but even though I have Shuck a little bit higher than McCord, McCord's the best thrower of the football in the class for like pound for pound. And it's just, creativity, the ability to like level up the offense, I do think is a little bit capped, but I thought the value there was impeccable. Then Ja'Cory Brooks as well at 162. I think he gets way too much shit, even though he tested out really poorly at his pro day. I still think on the field athleticism is impeccable. And, he feels like if you went to Aldi's clearance section, you saw Brian Thomas, it's kind of what you're getting there. And then you got Caleb Ransaw at 186, who tested out phenomenally well, can play in the slot, can play safety. Big fan of that. And then Rondé Gadsden, I mean, just another reliable slot weapon where you can actually have him and Fergie on the field at the same time and have a very big mismatch there in the slot.
Yeah, kind of like a Tyler Conklin type.
Mm-hmm.
But I like a lot what you did at the end here. Like, I guess I'm going to start there. Kyle McCord, I thought was a really good pickup. Could be a big sleeper in this class, but I feel like this is probably about his range, if not a little bit earlier. Whenever the 4th round starts, I think that's when I start thinking about McCord.
Mm-hmm.
Ja'Cory Brooks, underrated special teamer.
Yeah.
So many blocks.
That's
wild.
1,000 reps, too, on the special teams.
Yeah. Ransaw is going to be a nice addition to potentially the slot for the future. I don't know if they've done anything with Michael Carter's contract yet.
That got an extension like a year ago.
Did he? Okay. Good for him. If anything, dude, this late, it's good depth.
Yeah.
Shamar, I'm not the highest guy on Shamar Turner. To be fair, he was playing with the stress fracture this year, so.
And he's 110.
Yeah, right. It's 110. That's good value. Terrence Ferguson. I like Fergie, man. He's kind of a weird guy in this class, though.
I didn't expect for him to be the best tester at the combine. I did not have that.
That wasn't on my bingo card.
Yeah. We both thought the same thing, too. We both talking about the bingo card.
Membu and Morrison are phenomenal values and fits. I actually like this class quite a bit. I don't know if it gets me to A tier, but it's a very solid B.
I would be giving it an A, but that's because I'm also a big Ben Morrison guy.
Yeah, I mean, again, to me, it's like it's B on the fringe of A.
Yeah.
Where do I guess I should go with the Eagles now after
you already
pissed off the fan base.
You already did.
I?
Yeah.
Oh, it was the Cowboys. The Cowboys.
Right. Yeah, you pissed off the Cowboys.
I'm so used to giving Eagles fans
a lot of shit.
Yeah. Yeah. That must have just got them confused. Tedro McMillan at 12. Hey, that's it. That's all we needed.
Period.
Jerry, he's all in. Travion Henderson at 44, though. That's nice. Because I knew I wasn't going to get what I wanted at 76 at the running back position. You get that home run threat.
Yeah.
So Knight came off the board at 76. So it wasn't available to me at pick 100.
Paul was, though.
Yeah, but I think I'd rather the size of Knight. I get it that he's.
Oh yeah, Knight wasn't even there, though. I'm not saying the difference. Yeah, no, I have Knight above Paul.
Okay. Well, for me, you look at their linebacking core, and it's Overshown might not be. He might play the second half of the year. He might not play this season at all. Outside of that, they don't have much going on at linebacker. So Knight kind of was an obvious pick. I know that they don't really address safety a ton, but Ransom's a good value at one. It's 149.
Right.
At this point, it's like, okay, just show me the best player on the board. I haven't picked in a while. Okay, I'll take Ransom. And then Cam Jackson. I need him meet in the middle. This might be a little bit higher than where he is on my board.
Yeah.
But there weren't a lot of hefty dudes left. Keandre Lambert Smith. Haven't watched yet, but I've heard good things about.
Yeah.
I'm literally Monday, Tuesday, and maybe Wednesday are going to be big watch days for some guys I want to get in before the draft. We'll see if that happens. But he's got speed. Caleb Rogers maybe could, if Brock Huffman can't fulfill the right guard position with Zach Martin now retired, Rogers could be a good option. He's got flexibility. He played center at the Senior Bowl as well. He played right tackle at Tech, so something to look for there. I actually really like these next two picks. I'm a big Marcus Harris guy. He's got like a shorter frame, doesn't necessarily have ideal length, but I guess it's better than what it looks. But
yeah,
he flies around. He makes plays on the ball. He plays with that dog in him. Then Dolak, man, another guy that's just never out of position.
Deloche.
Is it Deloche?
I don't know. Deloche sounds sick.
Sean here. I
think it's Shaun.
Stop. So He's just always in the right place at the right time. That was just, you saw that this past season. I think he had a pick 6 in the bowl game, if not the bowl game, maybe the game before the season ender, season finale. That's what you call it. I said season ender. Golly,
we got it.
Yeah. But if anything, he's gonna bring some good special teams. Ahmed, and I don't have this last name down.
I think it's Hassanin.
Hassanin. He's gonna be a bit of a project. Hasn't been playing football for a long time. But relentless energy, can get after it.
Yeah.
And he produced the last couple of years for the Broncos. So good depth.
Yeah. I mean, this one, I'd go for like that A- tier. I mean, Tet brings something to the boundary that you guys just don't have. Trey Henderson. I mean, I'm not overly high on Henderson to where I think, like, based on my board, this is ridiculous, but based on realism, this is ridiculous. Like, so 100% there. Demetrius Knight, I know you have a lot of short-term fills at linebacker, but that doesn't solve the long-term issue. And Demetrius Knight brings experience and high floor. So I really like that. Lathan Ransom at 149. He's my safety 8. So I think that's incredible value there. If you can end up getting a little bit of what was there in 2023 in terms of his red zone run defense, he's going to be an absolute steal. But he ended up not doing so well last year. And then Cam Jackson, we both agree it's a little bit early, but beef. And nose tackle is like
beef.
You just got beef. And then Keandre Lambert-Smith, shout out to, I'm forgetting what it is. It might be like Young Money Sports agency that he has. So shout out to my boys over there. But regardless, fun player, 204, someone who I could definitely see competing there at like wide receiver 6. Caleb Rogers arguably is my favorite pick that you had here, but these last 4 I all really like as well. That's why I have it graded as A-. Caleb Rogers, really, really good run defender, very athletic. Shout out to, I'm trying to remember if it's still No Flags Film, but my boy James Foster over on Twitter, he ended up posting a really good clip for you guys to be able to see the potential of Caleb Rogers. I like the idea of him at guard or center, but athletic, good run blocker. We'll see if he can end up developing into something. I love all the defensive backs from Cal. If I'm going to be honest, like, I don't know where you have Craig Woodson, but Craig Woodson's tied with Kevin Winston for me in terms of grade. I'm really insanely high on Craig Woodson.
I thought he was interesting. Because
I think he's the best coverage safety in this class for the value. He is.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think he was like an elite athlete or anything, but
he had some issues. Yeah, his athleticism is not through the roof.
Yeah, but if in that day 3 area, I wouldn't mind taking a shot on him.
Yeah, I have him like right now at I think 90 or something. So I mean, pretty close. But big fan of that. So I love all the Cal DBs. Marcus Harris is no exception. Deloche, either a good special teamer or honestly someone who can compete. And then Hassanin, first Egyptian, I think that'll be drafted. So that's also really fun. And he looked like he got into really good shape in the offseason at the Shrine, looked a lot healthier than he did on tape. And so I love that work ethic. On top of that, he is built very similarly to Marshawn Nealand. So you have someone who he can grow behind as well. So, I mean, A- right there.
Yeah.
There you go. See, I'm not all asshole.
All right. You could be the Bills or the Patriots. What do you want?
Let's go Patriots. We were talking about the jersey in the back. Go back to New England Patriots. So started out with a bombshell, Ashton Genty. And
he did.
I mean, so for me, my vision was you can go Tet there, you can go Will Johnson there. And again, I want to emphasize this is what we would do mock draft. But you also have to take it through the lens of, what the system they're going into, right? You can't just, say, oh, I'm going to put Tyler Booker on the Dolphins. Probably not going to work, right? But I digress. Ashton, I mean, it'll probably be an upgrade, but still. Ashton Genty, I always look at, Vrabel had a lot of success with Derrick Henry. I think Genty could have a similar quantity of impact on the offense. Also takes off a lot of stress of the pass blocking side, which I think the offensive line is pretty direly needing. Mainly because I expected somebody to fall 38. Josh Connolly did. So you have your left tackle there as well. That was the vision. So because some people go weapon at 38, tackle at 4. I trusted the value of tackle to fall to 38. Then I got a high character, high ceiling, young, developmental, athletic edge rusher who's a great run defender at 69 in Femi Oladejo. Ended up getting a weapon because I thought the value was just right with Elijah Arroyo at number 77. If his knee holds up, I thought that would be a great long-term answer there. At 106, I said, screw it. Dante Thornton is a freak athlete at 6'5", and I want to see where he ends up. And he runs some limited routes, but he runs them very well. And with Drake May's long-range throwing capabilities, I could see that being a really, really good receiver to add to that mix. And then at 144, I just wanted to get some really good energy in that locker room. And I know Vrabel's going to love how Kobe Bryant turns it up to 100 every play. And you also have him on the boundary, safety, and he hit sticks for being 170 pounds. So I love that for him. I think he was up to 180 at the combine. 171, you got Jack Nelson there, who's in a long-term left tackle starter. So you have someone with a lot of experience, someone who I still have in my top 100. Or actually, I believe he's like right outside at like 110. Pat Bryant, he's just been lost in the sauce because he didn't test out that well. Never looked like he was a great athlete on tape, and people loved him. We're just going to be the beneficiaries of him falling here in this situation. One of the guys who's very reliable there and utilizes his size well. And then Zeke Biggers, man. I mean, really good at the Shrine Bowl, really athletic for his size. And I honestly thought that he's just a very high floor player to add to a relatively unstable health-wise defensive interior there with Barmore. So glad that the blood clots are gone, though.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, you really threw a wrench into things with Genty this high.
Yeah.
So it definitely made it interesting.
That's why Raiders fans didn't get Genty, FYI.
Yeah, or Bears.
Or Bears.
But, man, getting Connerly at 38 is really nice. I love those first two picks. I love Oladejo as well.
Oladejo.
So, sorry. I'm out here in Arizona, so.
Shout out to NFLSC for doing that.
Yeah.
They ended up saying it better than I did.
Yeah, those J's are pronounced as H's from where I'm from. But
I'm from
Elijah Royals, Elijah Royals a favorite of mine. They got Austin Hooper, but he's on his last legs. Yeah. So
it's a long term deal.
It is. Dante Thornton, honestly better than Tyquan Thornton. So, like, I feel, I don't know, man. I would love if it's just, this isn't the wide receiver class necessarily to go wide receiver early. So it kind of like complicates the grade here.
Well, at 76, we took Trey Harris. So it's kind of the hope. And I ended up kicking myself in the nuts by doing that. But I could have ended up getting the easy A with Trey Harris there at 77.
Yeah. I think I would probably go with a B.
Okay.
Oh, dude, I love Kobe Bryant, man. He's just a little pissant.
Pissant.
Like in the best way.
Yeah.
Just plays with piss and vinegar.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would probably ride B. I think it's a solid class.
Yeah.
You can probably make the complaint that, we should have went offensive line a little bit earlier than
38,
171. Well, yeah, I mean, going like double dipping.
Yeah. I mean, you have so many developmental players. I'd give it, I'm most proud of this draft comparatively to like most. I think with the curve
class.
Yeah, with the curveball, I think this could end up being a really impactful class.
Yeah. Well, this one will be quick because it's the Commanders. I had 5 picks. I went with Shamar Stewart. I was like, I would like an edge here. Let's see who falls to me. I had the option of Stewart. I was like, give me that freaky upside. Just give it to me. Kyle Williams is 61. Instantly, I think could come in and play either outside in the slot. He could be a vertical play. They lost in De'Ami Brown. I liked it there. Damian Martinez. Brian Robinson is a free agent, but he also has struggled to stay healthy. Martinez, I think he's very scheme fluent. And he kind of showed that in Miami where he had to jump to a different scheme where there were more gap man blocking. And I thought he did a really good job. He really caught on as the season went on.
Yeah.
Cone, cornerback depth, it's 205. Taking a shot on a guy.
Yeah.
Speaking of taking a shot, I double dipped at edge. I went with Joyner. I like Ja. I think he's got some tools. Even if he ends up just being like this Y9 DPR, I think I'm okay with that. It's 5 picks. I figured, maybe they're happy enough with the current state of their offensive line that it could hold up as Cosme gets healthy. So here it is, Alex.
I go B. I'm just not as high on Damian Martinez as you, so I understand the vision. From your end, I'd probably go A-, but from my end, I'd be going just a solid flat B.
I don't know if I'd go A either, just because of just didn't have a lot of picks.
I'm saying for the picks, adjusted for the picks. I like Shamar Stewart because I think he's a high floor player given his athleticism and run defense, and then you pair him up with someone who knows how to maximize edge rushers with Dan Quinn. I love Kyle Williams, so he's a top 50 player on my board. I think they actually need it. I would just say I wish at maybe 128. I mean, you got to go running back. I mean, this team does need some juice there. It's tough with the lack of picks because I want a boundary corner for him, a running back, a wide receiver, and an edge.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, those picks turned into Laramie Tunsil and Debo Samuel.
This is true. So, Kyle Williams is better than Debo all day. But anyways, I think we're now down to. Do I got to do the Bills still? Yeah.
You got to do the Bills. This is the last one of the East.
Dude, I did not know I did this. Hello.
I'm trying to remember. It's been a few days since we finished this.
Yeah, it's been. So if you guys are wondering, we recorded on we ended up doing this on 2 separate days, and then we ended up waiting like half a week to end up recording this because life exists. But Trey Amos to start out. Big physical boundary corner. I comp him to why am I tripping up on people's names? Tyson Campbell on the Jaguars. So big physical, always at the catch point. Big fan of that. JT Tuimalau at 56. I thought the value was impeccable. Like he's someone who will be the long-term Joey Bosa on the team. You need to have that. It's great value there. I want to be able to address the defensive interior as well. I don't think it's as pressing as maybe I think it is. And so I ended up taking one of my favorite defensive interiors in the draft and tied defensive interior 3, Omar Norman Lott, who just doesn't have the quantity of run snaps that you'd want, but I actually thought he did well in the limited amount that he had, and he has crazy athleticism. Isaiah Bond, even with all the BS, was at 109 because we were discussing it, and even though there's a chance he continues to fall, and he's going to fall very far, Mr. Schmo was debating on taking him with the next pick. So I was like, fuck it. So I ended up getting a deep threat there on the boundary. Hopefully everything checks out and he just turned himself in because he just didn't want an outstanding warrant. And fingers crossed it is an allegation.
He did also file defamation lawsuit. Defamation. There we go.
Yeah. I mean, even if it's not true, of course, you're going to do that to save your ass in terms of draft stock. But I mean, fingers crossed that the defamation case is valid instead of just like a cover up. But like, regardless, talent's there. Hoping the off the field is, a little bit blown out of proportion. Jalen Reed's good value at 132. He is my safety 11. And this team needs to get some extra juice in that deep secondary portion. Upton Stout, very similarly. I just thought, I'm going best player available. You can never have too many corners. You can play in the slot. You can play on the boundary. You can play safety. His zone IQ is not as good as what I would hope for. But this dude near the line of scrimmage is also he's a piss ant, in my opinion, as well. If we're going to be talking about that, because he's like 5'8", 180. And then Jaden Blue, I honestly thought, even though he has the fumbling issues, he kind of is a James Cook type. And if you have issues with James Cook with that contract, makes sense. I ended up saying, screw it. Just because we have Jaden Blue doesn't mean we can't get also some excitement at the running back core with LaQuint Allen, who is a day 3 player who I think could start right away. Amazing blocker. Honestly, an amazing receiver as well. So you're not missing out on third down if you have Jaden Blue and LaQuint Allen on the field. He's just smart player, a little bit athletically capped. And then Tyler Barron, also a 4-3 edge. The definition of just consistently good, but maybe not flashy. And then John Williams at 206. I mean, John Williams flashed in Dallas at the Shrine Bowl. I thought he was absolutely amazing for what he ended up coming in with stock. He ended up flashing quite a bit.
Yeah. My only gripe is I didn't think he had to go in on running back like that.
I just think that James Cook's gone. That's why.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. I mean, we've seen good things from Ray Davis. There we go.
Well, that's why I didn't get an absolute monster home heavy hitter. That's why I like Ray Davis. He's a contact balance, short range back. I don't think
I really like the first 3 picks.
Yeah.
I mean,
you should have liked the 4th pick as well, since you were saying you're going to take him at the next pick.
Yeah, I mean, that's exceptional value.
Yeah, I'm like, hold up now.
I mean, the only reason I don't I'm not like, oh, is like, well, they spent money on Josh Palmer, so Bond would be stuck being like wide receiver 4 or 5, which that's fine. That's probably a good spot.
Yeah.
To be
I mean, he
in.
also, I don't think that's necessarily true. I don't think you'll put Josh Palmer out on the field for what Isaiah Bond is supposed to do.
No, yeah, exactly.
So,
I mean, Bond gets to be very role
player.
Role player, yeah.
Yeah.
So like, oh, man. And dude, for me, Barron's just really good value at 177. I got him closer to like top 100 player. Yeah, I think this would be an A for me.
Yeah, I'd give it an A+, especially like with the asterisk that Isaiah Bond's off the field is okay.
Yeah, but I mean at 109, I feel fine taking that risk.
Right, like you can end up missing on Isaiah Bond and cutting his ass and being okay with the draft still.
Yeah. So you want to go south?
Yeah. You did start out with the last one, didn't you? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's go south.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Carolina Panthers. Of course, I took Mike Green. He's a top 10 player to me. There's a lot.
He's a good player.
When it comes to the character stuff, there's a lot of like not context. The opposite of not context.
There's a lot of context.
Yeah, a lot of context, but little info. So interviews are going to be big for him. We don't have that ability, so it kind of is what it is. I got Azareye'h Thomas here. I thought that was just good value at that point at 57.
Yeah.
Mike Jackson's on I think a 1 or 2 year deal. Regardless, I mean, yeah, regardless, like JC Horn, he just played his first full season and ever. So it's like, yeah, maybe grabbing cornerback depth isn't a bad idea. I would have preferred going safety earlier. Didn't really happen. Jalen Royals, I wanted a speed wide receiver with yak ability. Perfect. Love it. Jeffrey Bassa, he's a green dot guy. That's kind of what I was looking for. Someone that could maybe come in, and if he can just get my defense into position, then it's a win for me. Emory Jones is more. Yeah, there's my safety. Hey, honestly,
kind of
Billy Bowman at 140 was kind of great. That's kind of nutty value. He's legit, just ball hawk.
I think you're talking about Emory Jones though. Don't skip over. Emory.
Yeah, we can't skip over Emory. This is kind of a few developmental dude, because Moton, he's up in there in years. I think he's 29, going on 30. Still might have a lot left in the tank, but Akem Ekwonu, they got to decide if they're going to put the 5th-year option on him.
They should.
They're going to extend him. They should, in theory, but at least maybe develop it in Emory Jones. If you put the 5th year and then you decide you don't want him, you might have something there. You might, because he was formerly what we thought would be a first-round pick. So there's that there. Yeah. Shamar James is my guy. Another guy that was a green dot on the Florida defense. Flies around. His on the field speed is much faster than what he tested it out to be. Drew Kendall, they got Mays and Colbert there. Colbert, he's had some injury
short-term deals too, though. So it's
not exactly.
Yeah, they're not.
I mean, I was just taking a shot on a guy that I was shocked, not shocked, but I was surprised was still on the board. Kenan Crawford, even if he's just a special teamer, this is a guy that has over 1,000 snaps of special teams experience, but he also tested out like a freaking stud.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe it's something for the future.
Yeah.
Give it.
I'd give it a B. I'd probably be leaning more towards that B- C+ range, but like Mike Green, I have him as my number 28 player on my board. He did boost up, by the way. So shout out to that. So he's number 28 for me. That means I'm honestly in favor of guys going pretty much a full round ahead of where I have them and still being acceptable. So I understand it. Mike Green, definitely. He's better than what I initially gave him credit for. I mean, everything seems to point towards the off field being good because of all the research that like you've done and explained in a very good manner. So I don't need to be the one to explain it.
Even coaches, not just from Marshall, but from Virginia, speak highly of him.
Yeah. So
It's
fingers
wild.
crossed. Just don't stalk girls. That ends up working out for you. And and so like, yeah, you need to address edge. In round 2, I totally understand with the injury concern with JC Horn on top of that, not an elite corner too. Could see that being a good value. And then with Azaria playing in Florida, he can play in really muggy, high humidity, slog environments. I like that. Not many people care about it, but I do, especially when you're going down to Tampa Bay once a year, kind of matters. Jalen Royals, I like the ability. I mean, even at 80%, he was solid. Not a fan of Bossa. That's why I would be leaning towards a B- C+. I don't think that he's actually going to stay in the NFL very long. And I love him. He's a really good dude. But I would just say I was very underwhelmed with him as a linebacker. So maybe at safety, he could do some. Emery, I like the long-term vision at 114. That's great value. With Billy Bowman, I saw this tool on Instagram, or not on Instagram, on X, who was like trying to crap on some of my takes, saying that he's better in pretty much every single way than Jahdae Barron. And I'm like, dude, I like Billy Bowman more than like 98% of people on planet Earth. Like, just remember, if you try to call out people for stuff, back up your stuff if it's going to be crazy, or else you just look like a tool like that guy did. Shamar James, I mean, I like the youth, and they need a linebacker. Drew Kendall, I never shame a team for going offensive line. I like the flexibility. He looked good in Dallas. And Catan at 230, you're getting a really good special teamer. So, yeah.
I'm down with it. Where are you going?
I am going in the South. I would probably go Indy.
Let's do it.
Shout out to my boys, bring the juice. And technically round table, because Derek's part of round table too, right?
Yeah. And this is already an A+ draft.
I know.
With your first pick. Colts fans, this could be their only pick and they'd be happy.
I'm just going to be honest. The first 5 picks, I'm already going to give myself the A. Like, Tyler Warren is the dream, right? Reliable, every single down tight end. Like, that's just the dream to have. Swinson, people won't really see the full potential there. Obviously, for me, he's a top 10 player on my board, but also fits the athletic and technique profile that you guys liked about Leatu Latu. Not saying they're the same. I'm just saying Swinson is pretty damn polished, which is what you guys look for in edge rushers. Without your edge 3 no longer on the team, I do think, especially with edge 2 still being in flux, could end up being a long-term move there that ends up being profitable. At 80, I went Jared Wilson. Interior offensive line with Fries as well as Kelly gone. You need some of it. And even though you have Bortolini, you have Gonsalves, those are both like pretty much late day 2, early day 3 picks. First off, you don't know if that's going to work. Second off, I think Jared Wilson's better. But third off, not a bad idea to continue adding to the offensive line. And he fits the athletic profile of those 2 offensive linemen. At number 117, when Jamari Caldwell, I think getting some extra beef on the defensive interior that has that quick win ability, the quick sheds that Jamari Caldwell can have, is going to be great, especially with the mentorship that you have there. And linebacker is still a big issue. And I thought Barrett Carter at 151 was impeccable value. And you guys have consistently been sniping linebackers on day 3. I thought I might as well continue the trend. Jamari Harris, outside of the interactions I've had with him, if you look solely at tape, he's a very, very good player. I will just leave the off the field to be, maybe you can go check out my show and I end up ripping him a little bit of a new one. I'm not going to do it on yours. But then Brady Cook, Brady Cook has he's kind of the exact same, if not possibly even better than Daniel Jones, for a lot cheaper than Daniel Jones. He has the athleticism, the playmaking, maybe not the elite arm. And I think that's at 232, amazing value.
Okay. Now, I'm not as high on that. I'm not where you're at.
Yeah, I mean, you don't like Wilson or Swinson that much compared.
Well, I like Wilson.
You were like you weren't like huge fan.
Well, because I view him as center mainly. That's why you got Bortolini there.
What about centers do you think can't move to guard? I almost would say it's much harder to.
I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm not.
Yeah. Well, I'm not. I mean, obviously, anything's possible. I mean, hell, Jared Wilson can become a tight end for all we know. But like,
he's athletic.
Evaluation. What about him as a center makes you uncomfortable with him as a guard? I'd be much more concerned with
it literally just plays into experience.
What does that change?
Like snaps.
Oh,
Like
so you're just saying because he hasn't played it?
he's just played center exclusively almost.
Okay.
That's my only gripe. And with Wilson at this pick for the Colts, it's not a big gripe.
What do you
Not a big
think you
one at
need
all.
to learn more, like at a rate where it's too uncomfortable moving him to guard? Like, what area would you say he'd need to, besides experience? I mean, of course, people will change a position. It's not like, oh, I play center, so I can play every position now. But like, where do you think the learning curve is from center to guard? Because I'd be much more concerned of a guard to center because, like, can you snap the ball
With
like
him?
accurately?
Well, yeah, no, that's fair.
Like
too,
that's what I'm scared about.
with
Saying
him
other position center.
specifically,
Yeah.
just coming out of a different stance, explosiveness. You're not down low like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, we're nitpicking. I'm nitpicking.
Oh yeah, I was just curious. I was
on a
using
guy
this time
that's
to
probably
your brain.
early depth.
Yeah.
Caldwell, I like Caldwell. I think that's a good fit here.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Me, I feel more comfortable with a B grade. I don't love the Cook pick. I think it's like they've already made their bed. Just use that pick elsewhere.
Really?
From the coaching staff perspective, you've made your bed. I think it's either Anthony Richardson's the guy or he's not. Danny Dimes isn't going to save you, and I don't think a late day 3 guy is going to save you either, unless they're Brock Purdy.
Well, I mean, you're not getting Brady Cook to start. He's kind of supposed to be cheaper Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I think I'd rather probably look for a special teamer. This juncture again, I'm nitpicking a day 3 pick. So
fair enough.
Get off my back. I think I would ride B though. I think B it's a safe B.
Okay.
Safe B. No way it's a C.
No.
Just struggle with putting it at A. All right. Where do I want to go?
You hate these players.
I hate these players. Let's go with the Falcons, dude. This is going to be short. All right. Nice and 5 picks. Jalen Walker. I don't know if they go edge. They might believe in their guys.
Yeah.
Just give me a guy that right away can pin his ears back and get after the quarterback. That has a little flexibility, a little hybrid ability. Gojo doesn't want to hear this nonsense, apparently.
I mean, again, I also want to emphasize while you do that we did this as a hybrid of what we would do and also semi-realism, but much more emphasis on
what it was much more what we would do.
Yeah. So that's why Walker's here.
Yeah, I think that's why Kevin Winston's at 46 because, Simmons didn't work last year. If you could get someone that could play next to Bates, you're probably feeling great about that secondary. Yeah, I wouldn't mind a corner and corner depth, but Winston was probably the top guy on my board at that moment. Josiah Stewart, coming in. I want to reaffirm. This team hasn't had pass rush in like 2 decades. We need to solve that. Stewart can do that as a DPR. Thomas Fedone, there's length. He could continue to add mass. He could probably eventually be maybe a tight end, at least tight end 3 early on. Don't know if he could be a starter. Connor Colby, some depth along the offensive line. Also kind of a best player available. I thought he was a good scheme fit for Zach Robinson.
I'd be rocking a B on this one. Walker's incredible value. Yeah, I mean it's not a very inspiring draft, but there's something I will heavily disagree with you on, and that's Josiah Stewart. I do not think he's a DPR in any way, shape, or form. I think his best asset is his run anchor. I think he's an early down edge rusher, and I don't think he's very good as a pass rusher, regardless of the statistics. I think he got very lucky by offensive linemen making mistakes, which doesn't happen in the NFL. But as a run defender, he's really good.
I don't feel great about undersized, lack lane.
But he's short.
Lack
height.
I mean, he's stout. That just means he's going to get engulfed.
But he hasn't done it even versus guys who are 320 plus. Like, I mean, versus Donovan Jackson, he can hold his own. And, I mean, Donovan Jackson's
Donovan Jackson's more of a navigate through traffic type of guy.
I'm just saying in general. Like, every single game I saw Josiah Stewart, like, he just consistently held the edge better than pretty much anybody. Kevin Winston, I have him noticeably lower. But, I mean, I think it's a great fit. And then the other 2 are day 3 impact players that potentially might get cut, might not.
Stop.
I think they could.
You're already shooting these guys down.
I mean, they could be cut, but regardless, feel free to Russian roulette me on the next team.
All right, I will do that because I
I
think I already know where I want to go.
Okay. Jaguars. All right. Well, I'm a fan of this one. Hello. So
It's a good
this,
draft. I'll say
yeah,
that.
yeah. I mean,
It's a
people are going to
little
see
it's a little
107.
sticky at 107.
People are going to get scared of 107. But again, I want to emphasize this is what we would do primarily mock draft. And day 3 is an absolute crapshoot. We saw like random players from British Columbia get drafted last year. So like pipe down. But we went Mason Graham at 5. People have talked about it enough to where I don't need to talk about it. I think that it's better analysis to talk about Savone Ravel Jr. at 36. Boundary corner 2 has just been not addressed at all. Like, period. They haven't been addressed. And Savone, if he can stay healthy, is incredible in terms of matching the intensity and the ball skills that you can get with Tyson Campbell. So I think that'd be a nice 1-2 punch. Tight end, I do think is relatively lackluster. I think everybody would agree. Mason Taylor is probably going to be around 2, and then Todd McShay even hinted to him at 32. So, I mean, at 70, I think the value is impeccable. He's a standard tight end, really good value there. 88, DJ Giddens. I think that with ETN's 5th-year contract not happening, he's probably not going to be back on the team. You need somebody who can be a home run explosive back. And even if DJ Giddens tested out like he had home run hitting speed, but maybe like on tape, you can sometimes get caught in certain areas. Maybe he just limited himself. I've been a big riser in DJ Giddens since I comped him to going best fit for McDonald's, but I will just say I'll eat crow on that one. He's a much better back than I gave him credit for. Andrew Armstrong's a big my guy. I mean, everybody who watches Andrew Armstrong, I swear to God, it feels like Braden Swinson, but less people watched Andrew Armstrong. Like every time someone watches Andrew Armstrong, they're like, wow, I really like this guy. Why is no one talking about him? He's just a little bit older, but I mean, you allow him on the boundary. He's a solid athlete, really solid routes overall. And it allows you to use Brian Thomas wherever you want. Ashton Gillette tested out much better than I expected. I did not expect him to be a 4.6 guy. Did you? I didn't expect him to be 4.6.
I didn't expect that. I did expect at least 32-inch arms.
Right. But like, he is an absolute pocket pusher. So you don't need to, he's not going to be a starting edge for you. But in certain, like, if you really want to kick him even to the inside, I love that. And then I ended up going after best player available at 142. Sebastian Castro is my defensive back 3, defensive back being slot and safety. I think that this guy is a little bit underwhelming as an athlete, tested out better than I think he plays, but he's physical, he's smart. At 142, there's nothing, in my opinion, that could have been better. I know you're going to disagree, but I'm just a big Sebastian Castro guy.
I don't mind him at this range.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I like him on day 2. But Chase Lunt is my next guy at 182. Very athletic tackle from UConn, and he ended up having some really good game breakdown. I'm forgetting with who. He ended up doing explaining. They did a tape breakdown with him, so it was really cool to see. And developmental tackle. Curtis Rourke, honestly, I just thought of high floor backup quarterback. I mean, he's just a really good backup to have. And then Robert Longerbeam tested out better than I expected. Had some really good games in terms of pass breakups. He will need a lot of development, but I mean, feels like a shorter, worse version of Savone Ravel. Like if you just chopped part of his leg off and attached the feet, like you end up getting Robert Longerbeam.
Yeah, no, I like this class a ton. I wish you had got like a true safety at some point, but
that's why I
here.
have Castro, but he's not rangy. Right.
Yeah, I think you got a lot of competition for slot with Longerbeam and Castro.
Yeah.
Because if they're going to ride in there with, I mean, dude, Jordan Lewis, he's fine. But those first 4 picks, golly. I could see those guys being starters in a year or so.
Yeah.
Andrew Armstrong, I think he's a good compliment.
Yeah.
To if you're looking for a compliment.
It's a big my guy. That was a big reach for a my guy.
Yeah, and I like Strawn's tape too.
Yeah.
I like him better than Tesla.
Yeah.
And just everyone looks at Tesla and like, oh, he big and athletic. And it's like he big, athletic, unproductive.
Right.
Armstrong was a productive one there. I would probably go A. I really like how you handled day 1 and day 2.
Yeah, I'd probably go for the A- B+. I'd be lower on the class just because, I mean, you're 100% right. There's just a lot of competition for the slot that I don't know if you need with Jerry and Jones still on the team.
Yeah.
Me criticizing my own team, my own picks.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Jahad Campbell. It's like, hey, let's get somebody that could emulate what Devin White was for this squad.
but better.
Campbell could do that and probably cover, which is just nice. Princely Umamielen, not their typical type of what they like on the edge, or at least what they've had started, just from a like speed and tools perspective, but he's long. I think he's a good technician. I think you're going to get someone who could be very successful in that rotation with Reddick and Diaby. Makuba, man, I love Makuba. He plays with nasty. I mean, they had Winfield playing in the slot, box deep, and you could keep that with Makuba, who I think could play in the slot. I know they got Tyke Smith, so I'm really looking at Makuba as more of a center fielder, potentially, at least a vie for that. Vernon Broughton would be my Logan Hall heir apparent, hopefully. He's long. He got stuck playing in a very, very good Texas defensive line over the last couple of years that's been producing a lot of NFL talent. Jordan Hancock could play probably inside and out. And he's actually played more safety than outside corner, but I think he's got the build and honestly the athleticism to play on the outside. So that was more of a, okay, let's take a shot on a guy. I got a blocking tight end. I got CJ Dupree. He blocks.
I'm gonna go with the C for this one, like maybe a C minus.
What a douche.
Well, so here's the reason why. With Jihad, I love Jihad. You know that. I love the potential of him being an edge rusher as well. But of course, with the shoulder injury or with the shoulder surgery, there is a chance that he continues to fall, and shoulder matters to teams when they're
especially a linebacker.
When you're looking at linebacker, it's kind of a big deal. But I'm not a big guy on Princely at the same rate. I mean, the fact that he ended up bulking up to the 265 range, it's a little bit weird because I didn't think he needed to. I'd rather him add a little athleticism given his technique than add more weight. I just didn't think that was necessary. Makuba, I'm a little bit lower on, but I still like the fit quite a bit, especially if you're using him as a pure safety. I'm just not a big Vernon Broughton guy. I think he's like defensive interior 22 for me. So that's one of the big reasons. The biggest one's Jordan Hancock. Just not a believer in Hancock myself. And then I like CJ Dupree actually quite a bit. So, okay. I mean, I like your first and last pick the most. And it's just like only like the realism aspect of Jihad Campbell that I'd have an issue with.
Yeah. I mean, I know my draft strategy for the Bucks is like, this is a defensive heavy draft. And I don't know if there's something there at tight end, take a shot. Didn't take tight end until the end. So
it took 234 picks to go offense. But I mean, that's kind of what you need to do for the Bucks, man. That's where their primary area. Yeah, it's their area of need. So
you do you want to talk about Cam Ward yet, or?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Let's do it.
That was a really high pitch. Yeah. God damn.
Yeah.
It was really high pitch for me being 24. But regardless, starting out number 1, Cam Ward. Again, talked ad nauseum about it. He's the quarterback of the future. Let's just leave it there. Number 35, I think that there's still a massive need for a big X receiver who has a great release package, has really solid hands. And I think Jaden Higgins, he's my number 13 player in the class. It just adds up. At number 103, I really wanted to focus on edge. And even though there wasn't somebody who I've really believed in as like a day one starter, Quay Robinson, as the athlete that he is just impeccable value. You're taking a massive shot because he didn't play a ton, but he's somebody in the few reps that he had. He is just an absolute monster. And I think he could be an off-ball linebacker as well. I think his best reps actually came when he ended up being like a quasi off-ball linebacker. Speaking of linebacker, when Jack Kaiser, who is my linebacker 2/3, I'm a big fan of Kaiser. He's just a high floor linebacker, smart, experienced, just a good player. A little bit undersized though, but good in coverage. Ended up having a good interception during the Senior Bowl during practices. Then at 141, I'm a big Jimmy Horn Jr. guy. So this is a very big my guy draft. Jimmy Horn Jr. is explosive. He's in that 170 to 180 range, like just somebody to add into that slot realm, and runs very good routes as well. Very hard to cover in one-on-one. And he's a fun blocker. Jalen Rivers, I honestly think that he's going to end up being a guard, and he could basically, imagine 35-inch arms at guard. He can take some time to develop, and you have 1 year for him to develop behind Zeitler. Then we have Mitchell Evans there at 178, a really solid tight end in terms of floor blocking. And post ACL tear, looked like less of an explosive athlete, but honestly, he ended up flashing towards the end of the year. And then Kobe King, really good testing for a guy who's 240 pounds. I really wanted to focus in that linebacker room to make sure that you got as much help as possible. So I give this, I'll wait for you. to see what you think. So
I was probably, given that they don't have a third rounder, I was going to go A.
Yeah.
You got your quarterback of the future. I love the Jaden Higgins pick.
Yeah.
I think the first 2 picks are home runs.
Yeah.
Robinson, I get betting on the potential. And if you're an NFL coach,
you're gonna love
a
it.
position coach, you're gonna be like, yeah, no, I could develop this guy.
Yeah.
I think Jimmy Horn's actually a really subtle and really good
really
player to throw in there in the slot.
Mm.
I know I might not love Jimmy Horn.
I didn't expect that.
In terms of the role,
yeah,
I'm like, okay, I could see it.
Yeah.
They have one of the worst linebacker cores in football. I think what they added Cody Barden.
Yeah.
Right. And they need more. So double dipping on linebacker felt right.
Technically triple dipping because I was talking about Trey or Quay being potential linebacker.
Mitchell Evans. This was, I thought, a sneaky, could be a potential steal when it's all said and done. I like the draft a lot.
Yeah.
I think you hit it out of the park with what you could for the Titans.
Thank you. I would also stick with that A mark because it was a big my guy draft. Like every pick was a my guy. I was happy with it. I was very happy with that pick or with that draft. I just wish that I got a higher floor edge. Like that would be the only area where I'm like, but yeah.
If wishes were fishes, then the world would be an ocean.
I've never heard that before.
No?
Oh. No.
Little old wisdom there. I took Shador for the Saints at 9.
Yep.
He's got to go somewhere, and with Derek Carr going down, I feel like that's the perfect excuse. It sounds like teams are firmly believe that the Saints won't take a quarterback. Probably not is what it is, but
they said that they were more open to it post Carr injury. They said they weren't.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it plays out. Like Shador's landing spot's a total mystery right now.
Yeah,
just is. I love the Donovan Jackson pickup. I don't care if he ends up being a guard or a tackle. Yes.
Yeah.
Just yes.
Yeah.
They need both. Corners flew off the board. I knew if I didn't take it at 40 or at 9, 71, I'll be lucky.
I took Will Johnson already.
Yeah, right. So like at 71, it was like I knew I had like if Jacob Parrish is there, I should probably take him. He's got inside outside flexibility.
Yeah.
He just another guy that's willing to play physical. He's got like that stocky frame. Deion Walker, 93. This just hopefully everything checks out with his back. It was just kind of better on a dude.
Yeah.
That is a nimble mover. Who's there? Staley?
Yeah.
He has a nice healthy mix of stunts and blitzes.
Yeah.
This is my stunted option. Would I prefer a guy that could probably stop the run? Yes, but those guys weren't available to me, unfortunately. I love this Torrey Horton pick.
It's very good.
They needed size, and they got a guy that has size and can stretch the field. Again, it's not even prospect fatigue. It's just we forgot about him because he got hurt.
Yep.
That's kind of where we're at. Trevor Etienne, I wanted just a little spark plug in the backfield there with
Kamara.
Oh my gosh, Kamara. Golly, I was blanking on his name.
Don't worry. I've been blanking on some stuff too. We're a couple hours in. We're good.
Yeah, right. Ty Hamilton, just one of these typical Ohio State players that they can play the run well. He is, I think, around that 300 though, so not exactly the beefy guy I wanted, but what can you do, man? What can you do? Fadil Diggs, I like a lot as a DPR. Just pin your ears back, fly off the edge, and go impact the passer. I think he could do that. And then Teddy Buchanan, man.
Yeah.
Linebacker that could he's gonna be at the very least a sub package guy in passing situations because that's just what he excelled at California, but he's also got a good grip of special teams experience.
Yeah. I'd rock a C on this one. Lead C minus. But
Dude.
I mean, you were given a tough set of cards. Like you couldn't get Will Johnson at 9. You couldn't even get Savone Ravel at 40 because remember at 37 I ended up taking him. Like you had you are not given the ability to have a legitimately great draft.
I'm not the best that I could, Alex.
Right. Yes,
I get it. The Deion Walker pick wasn't ideal.
So that's where I'm gonna get.
In hindsight,
potential.
Yeah, in hindsight, it was like immediate too. I was like, I shouldn't have done that.
Well, because we did days 1 and 2 on the same day, and we completed day 3 on a different one, and I could tell that you were pissed about the Deion Walker pick. So I think you'll agree with me with that sentiment. Like I'm not a big guy in Shador. I'd rather just go Spencer Rattler and then see whatever the hell I can get there. Donovan Jackson, I love that pick. I mean, that's the reason why it's a C instead of a D. Jacob Parrish, I like Jacob Parrish a lot. I think he fits physicality-wise, man coverage-wise. I say he identifies as Velcro. Like, he really likes to stick to receivers. Like, he's fun. Dion, you said it. We all know that one was like, that's the big sticking point. Torrey Horton, if he stays healthy, is great. I call him Rack God. That was like my short description of him coming into the year. I just say like ankles fear Torrey Horton. And so hopefully post-injury, that's the same. Trevor Etienne's a great pickup. I'm not a fan of Ty Hamilton at all. Even though it's 184. I mean, it's just like, undersized. I don't know if he's going to be in the NFL. Fadil Diggs, love that one. And Teddy Buchanan, I mean, at 254, it's pretty wishful thinking that he'll be taking like legit reps, but still tested out well. Cal's defense, like similar to how on some like really good defenses, you just got to take guys from it. I think that Cal's defense this past year overperformed based on how good they trained their talent. And there you go. I think that's a good one.
Yeah, I don't disagree with this pick at 9 either. Like,
you were given a bad set of cards, dude. Like, it was not easy, but I would have went at number 9.
If I'm the Saints, just get Garrett Nussmeier, pair him back up with his daddy next year.
Well, I mean, funnily enough, like that you mentioned it, I did a 2026 draft where I had Shedeur going in my 2025, and I traded Shedeur and ended up drafting Garrett.
Oh, that's fun.
So it's not the end all be all, but yeah,
of course not.
I'm also doing 2027 right now on the side.
Houston Texans.
Texans. So offensive line with Kelvin Banks, the value is too good. I don't think I used to say offensive line was like necessity. I think it's a little bit blown out of proportion. You look at the quantity of guys they brought in, it's pretty clear they don't want to have to pick offensive line at 25, but they're also open to it. And that's a great place to be. And with Kelvin Banks, the value is there. I think that's a home run hitting move. You could go Josh Simmons if you want. I have Josh higher, but Kelvin Banks feels like the more realistic pick. Regardless, you get a great offensive lineman who's going to be your starter for the next 10. At 58, Jack Besh. If you guys know me, Jack Besh is my favorite wide receiver in the class. Perfectly able to work in the slot, reliable, great hands, and you need wide receiver help. It all checks out. Josh Farmer at 79, athleticism, great length, and I honestly trust like D'Amico to maximize the defensive interiors, just like I trust Dan Quinn to maximize his edge rushers. I think it's a good spot for someone who has a lot of room to improve and prove himself for what people are saying he is there at 79. And I said, wide receiver is still kind of an issue. Why not pair up Savion Williams back with Jack Besh? And you get after the catch threat. It'd be kind of fun. And then you have a big gap. 166, you got a Johnny Cornelius there, who I think is a high floor tackle, but actually a better guard in the NFL. I thought that there were, especially from wide 9, big issues with a Johnny Cornelius, and a lot of his issues were fixed at guard. I think he'd start right away. And then Taj Brooks, he has a lot of mileage, but at 236, you can talk about someone who's explosive, good vision, and you're getting an instant impact of someone who can legitimately take reps. 236, that's pretty damn good. And at 241, Cam Horsley was really solid value as well. Defensive interior, still worth taking a shot on. Probably would end up being bottom of the roster guy practice squad.
Yeah, Horsley is on the list of guys I'm hoping to watch before the draft.
Yeah.
I look at I like this draft a lot. I think where I'm like Savion Williams, you've already addressed. Wide receiver. Is he a wide receiver? Is he a Wildcat quarterback? That'll be fun. And, he's going to be interested.
Where do you have Savion? I can almost guarantee you I have him lower. So that's why I'm like, you're preaching to the choir here. But I thought that the chemistry off the bat with how eviscerated that wide receiver core is. Like Christian Kirk, we'll see if he ends up bouncing back. Nico always is hurt. And then Tank is, he's in the tank. He's in the back to tank for the Star Wars fans out there. And you got John Mechie. But
let's see. I'm looking for Savion real quick.
No, you're not. You're texting your wife.
No, because I can't use my other. Use because of my internet.
Damn,
right now.
Yeah. So behind the scenes for all y'all,
my internet.
All of your other screens are frozen because it says you have no connection, but this is working perfectly. God bless.
Dude.
I was calling you out on your shit, and I ended up eating crow.
But 162.
I think I have him like 250.
Okay, touche.
I cannot stand Xavier Williams. But
also, I'm not this high on Cornelius. But again, I mean, this was a big gap.
Have you thought of him as a guard?
I think I'm probably rather him maybe at guard.
Well, I agree.
Yeah.
But I have him being a top 100 player at guard.
Yeah. I mean, to me, I think I'm still in the B, maybe fringe A.
I go B.
Again, I wasn't like, I'm not appalled by anything.
Right.
I don't look at this and I still look at it and I'm like, you got Kelvin Banks at 25. Think he goes higher than this? We'll find out.
Yeah.
And Besh is just fun. Yeah. He's just so freaking fun. Goes out and just gets it at the catch point.
Can you imagine the size phenomenal. And reliability of Nico Collins, Jack Besh, and Xavier Williams out there, though? That'd be kind of nasty.
Yeah. So, are we finally going to the north?
I think so.
Holy crap, dude! Where do you want me to start? I'll ask you.
Yeah. Where do I? NFC North. Let's go Bears.
The Bears. The Bears. Nailed it.
We're at the final. We're the final division.
We're the final stretch, dude.
God bless.
And then I'm gonna go get off here and figure out what's up with my internet.
I'm gonna need to record a video for the day because my last one just tanked.
Love.
I ended up doing 5 players that could sneak into the first. Because I wrote an article for Garrett. Shout out to Football Analysis, great YouTube show. He just ended up regrading, I think, or like grading every single first round pick from like the past 5 years or 4 years. So 3-hour video. I need to go watch it, but I know Garrett's gonna make a banger. But wrote an article for his website. People said they wanted to see it. So
nice.
Yeah, feel free to check that out. Also, new thumbnail style. I'll need to hear what you think of it.
Ooh. Side note: no Ashton Genty. Couldn't get him. He was off the board at 4. I took Will Campbell. He could either be our Braxton Jones, move on, trade him,
or Tooney.
Tooney's only there for a year. So that's kind of where my mind was at with that. Talik Williams. I love this pick for the Bears if he's available. Look at you, dude.
I fucking
You're
love
peacocking. Nice, meaty boy, Grady Jarrett. He's up there in years. Let him just get after the passer. That's all he wants to do.
He's going to retire next year.
Yeah, right. Nick Scorden, he was there. I was like, you know what? Screw the Austin Booker development. Screw it. Get Scorden in on that rotation now. Yeah. I could see Bears fans now maybe getting a little apprehensive that I've still not taken a running back. Because then I go Jalen Noel. Yeah. And they brought in Zacchaeus. I'm not cool with that in the slot. Like, he's fine. He's an adequate starter, but give me someone that can legit separate. I mean, the Bears took Velus Jones in the 3rd many moons ago. I thought it was a bad pick then. It's a bad pick.
Yeah.
No, much better.
Yeah.
I did get running back and I decided to double dip. Devin Neal. I love Devin Neal. He might not have like the athletic tools you would be hoping for, but I think he is
reliable.
He's just so reliable. He's been so productive at Kansas. Yeah. I did though get a pass catching back in Donovan Edwards. I'm going to bank on it. Maybe he's a better pro than collegiate player. The production just hasn't been there the last 2 years. Massive hands, should do something in the receiving game.
Yeah.
Tommy Hill is this corner, maybe safety hybrid. And I'm just kind of banking on, let's get him to camp and see what he is.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out then.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm at a fringe of an A, but I'll go
it's A running back, right? Not taking running back earlier.
No.
I know what it is, Alex.
No,
I could already hear the comment section.
I don't think you're gonna guess it. I think it's because of the running backs you chose.
I hear.
It's the running backs you chose more than anything. I love Devin Neal, but I thought I'd want more of an electric back.
That's why I went and got Edwards.
I don't think Edwards is that. That's why I have that opinion.
Every blue moon he is.
Will Campbell I think is perfectly fine at 10 because of Braxton or Tooney. It's not ideal, but it is what it is. I would have went Hampton, but that's because I have Hampton super duper high. And then I'd probably take a project tackle / guard at 148. You could talk about a Johnny Cornelius there to play that guard role for you. You could end up talking about some of the other guys. But Tyleek and Nick Scorton are perfect, especially for that BA defense or DA defense, Dennis Allen. And then Jalen Knowles, one of my favorite fits for the Bears at 72. Now, I don't remember who's exactly available at 72, but I know Femi Oladejo was not. If Femi were available at 72, I would have went Trey Henderson at 41. And then like that would have been,
I don't disagree with that.
That would have been the easy A. That would have been the easy A, possibly A plus.
So where did the Cowboys drafted after the
44.
Bears? So yeah, he would have been available.
So I would have went Hampton there at 10, and then maybe just change the Devin Neal to a Johnny, and then go from there.
Okay. Well, where do you want to go in the AFC North?
We'll start with my Steelers. Why not?
Oh, let's do it.
Why not? All right. So
speak of the devil.
Speak of the devil. Of course, I send one. This is literally an all my guy draft right now. I'm just going to be completely honest. These are all 5 of these guys. I forgot what I drafted for him, but these are all my guys. So Amari Hampton off the bat, he is a top 10 player for me in the class. I think that our offense, especially with Arthur Smith, needs a bell cow back. I love Jalen Warren. He's on an RFA deal that was like 1 or 2 years. So it's super short deal. We need somebody to be an alpha. Amari Hampton's an alpha. At number 83, Ozzie Trapilo. He is, to me, a top 20 player in the class. To most people, he is a day 2 player. To 99% of people, he's a day 2 player. However, he has right tackle and left tackle versatility. I would say use him at right tackle, because how many freaking left tackles do we have to draft to put him at right tackle? Just get a damn right tackle, for Christ's sakes, man. So we got a right tackle there. Broderick Jones, we don't even know if he can play at this point. And then hopefully, fingers crossed, maybe he can play and then he can kick in one of these guys to guard. But Fontenot, yeah. And Troy, he can end up playing either guard or left tackle, depending on what he is healthy for. At 123, I wanted to get some competition for either the boundary or the slot. The thing is, you have time to develop him. Because I said Jalen Smith's such a good fit for Philly, bring him with Darius Slay. You can end up actually having a little bit of mentorship there from a system that is a little bit translatable. So I really love that. Jalen Smith's a big my guy, great run defense. He can either replace Beanie Bishop, or if he can really stick it on the outside, he can be your guy for the long haul. Then you got Riley Mills, defensive interior. I can already hear everyone saying, get defensive interior. I get it. Riley Mills, to me, is a top 120 player in the draft. If he were healthy, then he'd be a top 100 player in the draft. He is a really underrated player that is complete prospect fatigue. I don't know why people don't like him like that, but he wasn't available during the championship. That's probably why people didn't have their eyes on him. Great player. And then 185, assuming that we end up getting Aaron Rodgers, we might not. Even if we don't, especially if we do, Max Brosmer is perfect because his high-level throws are just jaw-dropping. But the dude needs a bit more time to get his head on his shoulders, if you will. And if you have Aaron Rodgers there as a mentor, I feel like that is something that could legitimately end up being to where it's like, oh, can this guy actually compete for a starting job? The high-level throws are just jaw-dropping. And at 229, Odell Fortune is someone who I have graded as a legit earlier day 3 player. He actually had a very good year for South Carolina. And again, another player that just had some prospect fatigue. And, you have another guy who's depth at that boundary position for the long haul.
Yeah. He gives you some Cam Smith vibes, which scares me.
At 229, I think you'd like it a lot more than where you drafted him.
Yeah, honestly. Yes.
I'll just say it. I'll really put that out there.
I love the Riley Mills pickup. I really do.
We're both Riley Mills suckers.
I've been on that boat for, since last year, actually, when I thought he was going to come out.
Yeah.
Jalen Smith, I think, ends up probably competing at slot immediately off.
I would, I think he would start over Beanie. But
there's him, Beanie, and then they brought in Equals too.
Yeah, Brandon. I will say this. Jalen played some safety reps and looked really good at it as well. So I just love getting that chess piece there.
Yep. Trapilo, I'm on board with that pick.
Yeah.
Because at this point, Broderick Jones is golly, dude.
It's not good.
Yeah, maybe we should just stuck in taking freaking Gonzo.
Oh. God, dude.
Y'all traded up too for Jones, right?
Don't even start with that. We did it to fleece the Jets.
Yeah. Oh. Hampton at 21 is nice too. It's a running back.
Yeah.
I get it. You look at your run back room. It's what Jalen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell.
Yeah, KG.
Yeah,
KG's
so
not bad. Not bad.
Not bad, but I mean, those aren't starting caliber players.
No. For Arthur Smith's offense as well. I mean, you got to have that factor in there too.
Yeah, Warren has to be healthy because that's why he's not really been on the field last couple of years, right?
I mean, it's been a heavy rotation, but
with him and Najee. So I would probably lean B. Again, there's nothing that like sticks out to me that's like, whoa. Which I am sure most sports fans could agree with me. If it just doesn't give you that whole feeling,
then you're not gonna give it an A.
I can't give it an A.
Well, it's an all my guy draft, so of course I'm gonna give it an A.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But let's move on. Where do I want to go? I'm gonna go to Minnesota.
A lot of picks here, though.
A lot of picks, dude. I don't know if I have the time to go over all this. I love Gray Zabel.
Yeah.
He's immediately going to push for that left guard spot. And I'm going to feel really good if Will Fries go or not Will. Yeah, no. If Ryan Kelly goes down. Sorry, I got my Indianapolis offensive lineman confused.
Yeah.
Because Ryan Kelly, I don't think he's played a full year in like 2 or 3 seasons. You throw Zabel at center. You love that versatility.
Yeah.
97, I figured if I didn't go corner early, I wouldn't like what was available to me at 139. So I took Noel Williams. I think he's a good press corner.
Yeah.
Quinn Ewers. Listen, I mean, this is a dude that used to have some buzz. It wasn't pretty last year. But there's no denying he's got some arm talent. He's got a live arm. Maybe you can develop that. You don't know what exactly you have in JJ. Am I saying this guy's going to start over JJ? I hope not.
No.
I hope never. But it's me taking a shot just because you don't know what you got in McCarthy. RJ Mickens. I love Mickens. I think he's a do-everything safety. He tested out way better than I expected. He can be a bit over-aggressive, and that's mainly shown in his tackling, where occasionally he'll slip off. Other times, targeted. So it's like, but he's got a lot of special teams experience. He's got a lot of starting experience. I don't know exactly what they have in Theo Jackson, but apparently they're confident enough to extend him. We'll see. It was pick 187. I did what I could.
Yeah, I'd rock a B+ on this one. Gray Zabel's a top 10 player for me in the class, which call it crazy, but I mean, I just think he's fantastic. Noel Williams, I'm not a big fan of Noel overall, but there's certain systems that I love him in. This is one of them. So I
liked Marcus Harris better.
Yeah.
Noel had the better size. He had the playmaking ability.
Yeah. I mean, he has Noel Williams. They may be few and far between, but he has those reps that are like, oh, whoa. Yeah. Like he like stuffs a receiver. Quinn Ewers, I love it. That might be my second favorite pick. It is my second favorite pick because worst case scenario, you whiff. But Kevin O'Connell's a quarterback whisperer. Best case scenario, can he compete? I don't think that's even the best case scenario. I think the best case scenario is you can trade him away, and then you end up flipping an early 5th, late 4th, and into maybe a 3rd round pick with something in the future, or maybe it's a future 4. But at least you have a quality backup that you're renting essentially for free. So I like that. RJ Mickens, I'm not as high on him as you, but he makes those splash plays. It's worth it at 187.
Yeah. I'm cool with that. Where do you want to go? Baltimore?
Yeah, let's rock Baltimore.
All right. As they say in Baltimore, fly, Ravens, fly.
Dude, I like this off the bat. Holy shit. Hello.
By the way, that was a joke. Fly, Ravens, fly was a joke. Play the joke. I don't want people thinking
that your IQ is sub triple digits.
Yeah, right.
Nick Eamon-Warry off the bat. I mean, if you can play him as a deep safety, which this team would, because nobody on planet Earth would put Nick Eamon-Warry in the box over Kyle Hamilton. My God, just treat Nick Eamon-Warry as a rangy free safety that just randomly has 6'3", 220 on him, and you're gonna have probably the best safety duo in the NFL. Just gonna put that out there. I have that faith in him. Not many do. Darian Porter, I still think a boundary corner spot is absolutely on the table. He has that speed and fluidity that you already have with Wiggins, and he has the ball skills of a wide receiver because he was one. He might be 24, but this team's in a position to compete, and if age becomes the biggest problem, that's a damn good problem to have, especially at corner.
Reunite him with TJ Tampa.
Yeah, which Darian Porter's 10 times the player that TJ Tampa is, just ended up coming into it this year. I can't stand TJ Tampa. I know you're a Tampa guy.
I like Tampa.
Jordan Birch is going to be that Calais Campbell role for you. He is a top 70 player on my board. He is awesome. Tested out phenomenally well as well. So just someone who I have a ton of faith in. Logan Brown is a developmental offensive tackle that can kick into guard. Like, I have that flexibility for him. Really good athlete. We talked about Bryce Cable earlier, his teammate. I think that getting a flexible offensive line piece that can learn left and right, and even the guard spots, is going to be extremely valuable. Well, a position I don't really trust for the Ravens long-term is the legitimate X. And actually, Caden Prather is a really good route runner, pretty damn reliable hands. And he's a solid athlete as well. At 136, you get someone who's right down the street and someone who I have a lot of faith in. At 176, I want to continue boosting the pass rush. Antoine Powell-Ryland, even if he has sub 32-inch arms, he's someone who was actually fairly productive versus top-end tackles, someone who I have a lot of faith in. And before I ended up finding out about those arm issues, he was someone who I had very, very high on my board. Jalen Travis was a very similar story to Logan Brown, minus the fact that I don't think he'll kick to the inside. I think he'll just be a really solid offensive tackle. I think he has close to 35-inch arms, if I remember correctly.
He's long.
Yeah, he has really good length. Ricky White, another dynamic weapon, best player available. Happy with that. Ollie Gordon's been extremely unexceptional, and then you put him in a spot where you get to learn from Derrick Henry. Very well might become exceptional. And got some extra center interior offensive line depth with Seth McLaughlin, who, I mean, when healthy, probably worth a 6th or 5th round pick. So good value there at 212. And then Ben Urosik at 243. I mean, someone who we thought could end up being like a day 2 player. Didn't really live up to it at Georgia because they literally have 1,000 tight ends. So worth the shot at 243.
Yeah, I love what you did at the beginning of this draft.
Mm-hmm.
Even Logan Brown, I think sneakily could be a really good developmental option.
Yeah.
I didn't love Caden Prather.
Really?
You took him one spot ahead of my boy Ty Felton.
Oh, yeah. We were debating the two.
Yeah,
I just wanted the X build.
Yeah, and I get that. That. I'm also not a big APR guy.
Yeah.
I think at this point in the draft, though, it's fine. It's just I've seen some people had him with like day 2 hype at one point, and I was like, I don't see that. But I think in a DPR role, I think works exceptionally well.
Yeah,
because David Ojabo, unfortunately, health has been a concern with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like this draft, especially like taking shots on Travis, White, Gordon. I think that, like, right there, like, low key, you could maybe get like 1 or 2 starters in the future with those picks. Man, this is good. I'm gonna give it an A. I like it a bit.
Eric DaCosta.
Yeah. What am I saying? I should have known all along.
Yeah.
I already knew the grade. I already knew
Right.
it. I guess I'll go the Packers and then finish up with the Lions. Yeah, that sounds right. I got Matthew Golden. That's all I wanted. Just give me a wide receiver that maybe has the chance to be a 1 that's vastly different than what I have. He is that. He is that very nuanced route runner. You were on to him, honestly, before I was. You liked him out of Houston. Yeah. I didn't watch him until he got hot at Texas.
Thank you. Yeah. No, he when I was watching him and Sam Brown, it was just like, damn, they're great. They're great together. Like, they complement very well. Sucks to see them split apart.
Sam Brown got stuck in that rotation at Miami.
Yeah.
Alfred Collins, they lost TJ Sladen. Sladen played over 500 snaps. I wanted to get a big, meaty boy. I got a big, meaty boy. David Walker, this might be higher than where he probably actually goes, just because I knew he was old. I didn't think he was like 25. And that probably would then have me put him somewhere like early day 3 rather than where I currently have him. But I was looking for that DPR, like, okay, let me get someone that could get pass rush, because it's not right now. There's not a guy that can consistently do that.
Right.
So There's that. RJ Harvey, just kind of different than what they currently have. Someone will be like, well, they got Marshawn Lloyd. When's that dude on the field? Had injury concerns in college as well. Okay. Enough said. Give me Harvey. Harvey, pair him up with guys like Emmanuel Wilson and I don't know why I blanked on Josh Jacobs' name.
I was like, are we trying to go for like the next running back down the list, or
yeah, right? Is Patrick Taylor still there? Then I went Zy Alexander. I wanted at least someone bigger than guys like Jair and and Nate Hobbs.
Yeah.
Alexander fits that. I think he's got some good pressability. Not a great athlete, but he's a good technician. Carson Vincent, they list him as an interior player. This dude's a tackle.
He's bum website.
He may be a developmental. Okay, stop. He may be a developmental tackle, but he's a tackle. So I don't know if you know this. The Packers, they have a way of finding day 3 starting tackles.
This is true.
Which you now have coming up on contracts. Tonka Hemingway, man. I like Hemingway a lot. And I figured maybe he could be a more athletic Carl Brooks. But I also loved Carl Brooks coming out. So I don't know how much. I don't know if I want to see them compete. Daquan Felton, he honestly tested better than I thought. Because I didn't think he was fast, but he was smooth. But tested out faster than I expected. Big body. They didn't really have that. With Watson hurt, they need that. So felt a need, fit a need.
I'd give it a C. I love the Matt Golden pick. Yeah, I'm just gonna be honest. Not a fan of the Alfred Collins pick. At that same rate, I don't think defensive interior. Like, I didn't see the value there, especially for David Walker as well. RJ Harvey. I feel like all those were out of range where I didn't feel comfortable. Zy Alexander, I want him to have a safety upside because I think his zone coverage ability is good. Okay. I think he gets exposed in one-on-one. Carson Vincent's my favorite pick that you did because I think it's spot on. I see tackle potential with him. He has over 35-inch arms. Like, he's built to play well. Tonka, I mean, you're just adding extra rotation to the defensive line. That's fine. And Daquan Felton, I think it's good value there, especially. So it's just primarily the second and third and fourth round. And I was like, I mean, I get it. Not all. I really wanted a corner for you. Not all of us are cultured. I wanted a corner much earlier. I'll just put it that.
All right. What orange team are you going with?
We'll go Bengals. I want to end off on the Browns.
Said nobody ever.
Save the best for last.
All right. You tell Bengals fans why you didn't go defense, but pick one.
So, because I care a lot more about your quarterback than your defense, if I'm just going to be completely honest, because your team could have a good defense. If your quarterback's hurt, they're not doing jack shit. So just going to put that out there. But I still end up going after defense for you guys quite often. I still think Tyler Booker's fantastic. I mean, imagine the size. Orlando Brown, Tyler Booker. I mean, you're adding beef to that line.
Marius
Mims. Like, you're building a fortress, which you need to because you've been neglecting it, especially because your guards are absolute cheeks, which, by the way, you're going to like at pick 119, but we'll get there in a minute. Al Golden, I still didn't want to leave him hanging. I gave him Xavier Watson, Jack Sawyer. And at 81, if you're getting a slightly better version of Sam Hubbard, that's better than what you got. And so at 81, I thought that you're getting legitimate starters. Like, you're right now 3 picks in, getting 3 guys who should be taking either noticeable snaps or all the starting snaps. Dylan Fairchild, this dude's literally the definition of the Trevor Keegan of this class, the dream of backup offensive lineman. Like, he's just the definition of really, really, really high floor. Maybe not the highest ceiling, but I mean, he's the dream guy to have, and he's able to start right away because a really elite backup is a lot better than what you have starting right now, in my opinion. So I'd put him there. I mean, Tevin, he's on the Browns, right? Like Tevin Jenkins. I remember there was this big debate between the Bengals.
Yeah, he's on the Browns.
Community. Yeah, like the Bengals community was losing their shit. So you need it. And then linebacker-wise, Smile Munden, really good range for him to go. He was a top 5 linebacker for me coming into the year. Granted, that didn't include the linebackers that ended up being really damn good. But I mean, just the value-wise there, Al Golden likes his linebackers, worth taking a shot. And then 193, even though he's older, Tyler Beatty is very, very solid. And this is at 193, age doesn't matter to me as much as what maybe to some others it does, especially because your defense is lacking. I just want the best players available. If he's taking a snap, I don't care if he's 21 or 25. I just want him to be fucking good. So I'm going to be able to leverage that to get a really good player who's an instant system fit.
Mission Trip Tyler is what I hear they call him. All right. So I don't mind Tyler Booker at 17.
Yeah.
And I actually really like Watts. Sawyer, man, he's got the production. You're going to have a lot of people out here saying, okay, well, it's better Sam Hubbard.
Prospect, that's you, but I was quoting you when I said that.
That ain't just me.
I mean, it's not just you. I'm just saying I was quoting you when I said that.
But man, I think I would fall just because me personally, I would rather go defense and go defense heavy. And I get protecting Joe Burrow. And I think he did a good job of it at 119. I would go with a C. That's just me. I get it. I'm a jerk.
Well, I mean, that's why your quarterback's hurt every year.
Dude, I would love a freaking left guard.
Yeah, you would. Man, if only this team got a left guard off the bat at 17.
Man, if only I had freaking Joe Burrow.
There you go.
How about that? All right. This is my last team, dude.
It is.
And there was a specific reason why I went with the Lions last, because we got to talk about pick one. I went with Jahdae Barron. So I don't mind this, because in my head, I'm kicking him directly into the slot, which might be where he plays in the NFL right off the bat.
Okay.
You could be like, well, we got Meek Robertson there. Yeah, Robertson's awesome. Barron's awesome as well. Your coverage struggle during the year, be like, well, I mean, then we should address like the outside corner position. Yeah, I got DJ Reed. You should expect Arnold to take that next step. I thought he was playing good football aside from, the often occasional pass interference. But hey, he's got that dog in him. I'm okay with that. And you got the best safety tandem in the league. So I felt like this addressed that need of, okay, we need to help the secondary. We need to be better in coverage with another guy with some incredible ball skills. I got that edge at 60, Landon Jackson. He's a good athlete. He's physical. He's creative. It's just not all those moves are hitting on all cylinders. It needs a little bit of polish, but I like that at least the mind for some sort of game plan is there. So I've really come around to Landon Jackson over the last 2 years. Like coming into this year, I was like, man, he had one good game against Alabama and people would think he's a first round prospect. And then every game he was just reliable and solid. And I was like, okay, maybe he is good. I love this Miles Frazier pick. I love Miles Frazier. I'm a Miles Frazier guy. I thought he was the best LSU offensive lineman at the Senior Bowl, which did not have Will Campbell. Just want to put that out there. In this, he's playing guard, which is fine. Glasgow kind of had a down year. Maybe he's better depth at this point in his career. I did get someone that could stop the run, play the nose in Jordan Phillips. They have Broderick Martin. He hasn't really done much there. And I feel like with Aleem McNeil probably likely out for the first 6 to 8 weeks of the season, you might want to get some depth in the draft to kind of help fill that. So much so that I double dipped. But really, with Pegues, it's like, okay, if Ben Johnson's gone, maybe his creativity isn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you know about Pegues. He had like 7 rushing touchdowns last year or something.
It was crazy.
Dude, I think that's just a fun prospect you could have some sort of fun with.
Yeah.
Kobe Hudson is an outside player that, well, you could probably play in the slot too, but for me, it's like he can be a possession guy. He can be someone that can win on the contested catch downfield.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I was thinking, this team was good when they had like Josh Reynolds. He could be a Josh Reynolds type. I know that they got Tim Patrick, but you never know when injury can occur, unfortunately, with Tim Patrick. Right. Good player went on the field. Then Mullins here is, well, we saw David Montgomery get banged up a few times. I just wanted a big bruiser. And fun fact, used to play linebacker. So, hey, man, they got fun with, was it Malcolm Rodriguez? He was playing a little bit of fullback.
Yeah.
Who's to say you can't do that with Mullins? Who's to say you can't have fun?
This
draft was about fun.
Yeah.
Do it. Do it. I know you don't like that Barron pick.
I'm floating between an F and a D.
Dude, ain't no way. That's a solid. Like, even if you take the Barron pick out of account, that's a good draft.
I'm just going to be honest. I'll go D to be polite.
I'm not even saying that's an
I'm going D-.
I think this is like a B-C draft at least.
Yeah, I would say D- for me. Jade.
Who do you hate?
So Jade doesn't make any sense to me at all. I mean, you explained it so much that I could tell that you were trying to win over my mind.
Dude, are you kidding? He could be a slot defender. I'm not saying he could go out there and play
your
man
first
on
two
the
picks
outside.
last year on guys. Ennis Rakestraw ain't no bum. Like, he just needs a little bit more time. You're going to give up on him?
Yeah, needs a little bit more time.
You have four corners
on the outside.
You have 4 starting corners right now, including 2 that can play in the slot. Technically 3. Technically 4. I mean, all 4 of them can play in the slot.
You talking about Rakestraw?
Yeah.
Rakestraw ain't starting nothing. We haven't seen. He's unproven. We haven't seen anything.
I'm saying you have 4 starting quality. Maybe you could say 3. You have 3.
I would say good. Robertson. Yeah, sure.
Reed is good. Arnold's good. You have 3 starters plus a 4th that could be a starter, and then you have Jade, who I don't think is remotely close to the talent level of like Terry and Arnold level, which similar draft range, but I would say he doesn't bring the physicality that Arnold or Rakestraw did.
I disagree. If you're talking about in coverage,
he's not, but he's a zone coverage guy.
In slot, he can play the run like that.
But I'm saying, like, in coverage, he doesn't bring the same level of intensity that the rest of the corners do.
Which is fine. He did.
But that's not the reason why.
At Texas.
That's not the reason why. I just say I disagree with the pick at 28. I'm not saying that's like,
I'm drafting a slot corner, Alex.
I don't think Landon Jackson's all that. So that's also on top of that. I don't
mind it at 60. He's got.
Yeah, I mean, it's at 60. I mean, it's just a difference of opinion at that point. Miles Frazier, I like him a lot. So I'm not going to disagree with that. I do not like Jordan Phillips. I think that's
at 130 though.
Yeah, I don't like Jordan Phillips.
At 130 though.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't. I don't like it. I don't think Jordan Phillips is a very good player. I think he's very overrated. Pegues is fun. But then the other day 3 picks with Hudson and Mullings, like, I don't think Hudson will get any reps, and I like Hudson quite a bit.
I don't think
Mullings would touch the field. I
don't think any. You would be in a bad situation if any of those players.
I don't know if you get a single snap outside of round 2.
I bet you Mullins is playing special teams.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think you get a single offensive or defensive snap outside of round 2, and I don't know if you're getting more than 100 snaps out of round 2.
Detroit's a good more than 100.
That's what I'm saying. Like, for me, I
guarantee you Landon Jackson's playing like 500 snaps for this squad.
Well, I'd prioritize offensive guard. I'd prioritize edge rusher. Like, I don't think Landon Jackson's all that personally, so that's why I'm a little bit lower on that. I would not. Cornerback would be probably close to the bottom of the list for me.
I disagree. This is one of the worst. Let me confirm this before I say it out loud.
Yeah, I might hold up. Because you got a lot of guys who are young and developing. You add in a seasoned veteran and DJ Reed. But
I love that pickup, by the way. Reed.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, it makes sense. It does feel very similar to the other styles of corner that I just don't think Jahdae Barron is remotely close to in terms of coverage identity. How about that?
Coverage identity. How do you identify coverage?
I mean, I just thought that there was. I would be left wanting and terrified as a Lions fan if I'm trying to improve for a Super Bowl, which I think should be the vision for what the Lions do. This doesn't get me anywhere closer to the Super Bowl. I'll just put it that way. Like, I like the individual players. Like, I like Barron.
Okay. It was penalties where the coverage was not great.
I know
and that really more depends on the
grabber. Yeah.
Development of Arnold.
Right.
But
right. So that's why.
Also, I mean, the safeties were doing a lot of the heavy lifting when it came to coverage.
Which puts less need for the corners to carry, which is why I wouldn't take one.
I mean, to me, he was one of the best players available.
I mean, he absolutely is. Like at 28, that's what I was saying. Like the value for where Jade
would have been. I think the other guy was Shamar Stewart.
Yeah. Shamar.
I think I would have gone Jade over Shamar.
Yeah. But honestly, I think Trey Amos is a better fit than Johnny Barron, because I would kick Terry into the slot at that point.
But that's the thing. You would be kicking him into the slot. I'd be looking for a slot defender.
Well, I already have two guys I trust in the slot. I'm saying if I'm taking a corner, I want somebody to be
I have more guys that I trust. Well, I don't want to say I trust Arnold completely, but you invested a first rounder in him. It's trust by we invested a lot.
Association. Trust by association with the pick.
So it's like I would look at it's like, okay, Robertson's a good vet.
Yeah.
But that shouldn't stop us from trying to upgrade the position.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see the value there, but that was not remotely the reason. I think that Barron and Frazier were my two, and Peggy's were my two favorite. I just don't think this moves the team anywhere closer to like championship contention, where I would have went maybe in round 2, even after, I don't know who is available at receiver, but like, if you really want to make a ballsy move and say, I'm going to make this team as competitive as possible, I would go for that or the guard in round 2 and then go from there. But I mean, again, that's assuming I'd go Shamar Stewart at 28.
Okay. I will say this. We're going to go over the Browns, our final team. This might be an F out of malice. Just playing. I'm just playing.
I'm about to say, I'm like, hey, you can like, I'm just unapologetic
with those first 3 picks. I don't know.
I don't know about that. I don't know. Start out with Abdul Carter. Of course, I saved this for last because I know I was going to be pretty happy with the outcome of this. I mean, Travis Hunter seems like the logical option at the moment based on what the news is. I think it's up in the air. We don't know. I mean, hell, Will Levis on the day of the draft ended up shooting up for #1 overall odds. There's a lot of stuff going around right now. You never know. But I love the idea of pairing up Abdul and Myles Garrett for the future. Then you got Luther Burden at 33. I think the receiving core is pitiful. Like, honestly, it is pitiful. Like, you look at the depth, you're like, oh my God. It's bad. It's bad. I mean, pull up the wide receiver depth chart because my keyboard's so clear. Oh, my bad.
Jerry Jeudy.
It's like Cedric Tillman,
I think then you have
Jamari
Thrash, and then I think David Bell's still on the roster.
Making my point. You need some help. You need some help. And Luther Burden is great value right there. Caleb Johnson as well. Caleb Johnson, I mean, bell cow back, young, shown that he can have a large workload while also still having a lot of tread on the tires. Will Howard, I mean, literally just better Kenny Pickett. I fuck with that. You're getting actually him to be a starter too. And then also he was there with Tyler Shuck. Holland Pierce at 104. I mean, they talk about DeJuan Jones, Holland Pierce, 2 mountains. Mello Dotson. I mean, I think Mello Dotson's extremely underrated. Tested out horribly. Same thing with Kobe Bryant for that matter. But when you see him on the field, I mean, these guys are fringe, like corner 4, corner 5 players at 179, especially with a year of development under his belt. I could see it working out. At 192, I wanted to get a really good blocking tight end. Jackson Hall is perfect for that. Elijah Huzzy at 200, especially with Greg Newsome, potentially coming on a contract. He was really fun to see in Dallas and, actually someone you could end up seeing taking reps within a year. Daniel Jackson's awesome. He might be short and like relatively unathletic in a straight line, but he tested out very well in the 3-cone and short shuttle. He was super reliable, taking hospital shots from Max Brosmer, but someone who I really, really liked for depth. And then at 255, getting a freak athlete there in Jared Harrison Hunt to be able to add to a pretty stacked defensive interior in terms of young growing depth.
Yeah, no, this is a good class, Alex. It's probably an A.
You should have ended off on the Vikings. I don't know why you choose to end off and like leave the taste of
because I had some explaining to do. That's why.
It could have been done where people forgot about it by the end.
No. Because I still don't think the Jade pick is terrible.
Well, it's just like,
is it ideal? No, but I don't think it's bad.
Fair enough.
Because like I have him in that like top 20 picks. So
I'm just saying within 2 years, I could see up to like 8 of these picks taking reps and noticeable reps for the
Well, yeah, they have Kenny Pickett at quarterback.
It is kind of cherry picking, but yeah.
And I mean at 94, it's like there's no investment.
No.
So, like, you could go get quarterback next year if you really want to.
Yeah.
If you are really that bad. If you are really that bad, you're probably
right.
The front office is probably gone.
Right.
At that point. Caleb Johnson's awesome. They still might bring back. You saw Nick Chubb back to squatting 500 pounds.
Squatting that way is just not good for your spine, FYI.
Golly, but it's
still a beast.
Sexy as hell.
Still a beast.
I like Luther Burden. I kind of get worried you find yourself in this like Jerry Jeudy. How much of the slot can he eat up? But he played actually a lot on the outside. So I'm not that
It's a good
worried.
problem to have.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Some would say cornerback being the most volatile position on defense, having a lot of good corners is a good problem to have. Alex went. Now I'm just spiteful, dude. I'm petty as hell.
Hey, I went more corners, so I mean, that's fair.
And honestly, like you go into the late rounds, like Haas is going to be contributing more often than not, just because of what he can do as a blocker.
Mm-hmm.
The cornerback depth is needed. You have some free agents coming up next year. Low key, I like Jared Harrison Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's got a flexible body type. What does he do? I don't know. You just figure out in camp. Figure out what he can do. Yeah, and it's 255.
It's
like
255.
You said. I'm not gonna front.
He's gonna be doing field goal blocks.
Golly, Alex, I was 7 rounds, and now I have to go figure out what's wrong with my internet, because this is what draft week is going to be like for me.
I got to give my knees a rest. I have a stand-up desk.
Oh, I was like, are you on your knees opposed to a chair, Alex?
No, I stand this whole time. I'm going to be doing it for the draft too.
Oh, wow, dude. God,
I mean, on day 2, it's a desk. It can raise and lower. So
that's why you got the offensive tackle calves. Golly.
You know what? I mean, I'll pull it up while you like try to do an outro.
Yeah, thank you. Well, hey, thanks for hanging out with what?
You didn't give a grade.
I said an A. I said an A at the beginning, and then I started being petty. Golly. Anywho.
Look at that shit. Look at that.
He's even taped up too.
I know. That's fucking nuts.
Built like a great oak tree.
I'm built like Saquon Barkley, but at 170 pounds and 5'9". I'll say 5'8", but 5'9" for people.
But hey, we did 7 rounds. We did draft classes, so you could go see your favorite team's draft class. You could like it. You could hate it. Let us know in the comment section below. We love the discourse. We love the engagement. I love to troll. Don't take it personally. If you're rude as hell in your comment, I'm probably going to be a douche. That's just me, though. That's just me. That's just me flirting.
If they're rude as hell, they're not watching this part of the video. I'll just admit.
Probably. And I'll just timestamp it.
For the douches. Literally, put that as the end, like, for the douches.
Yeah, right. But let them know where they can find you, Alex.
Yeah. Hail Mary Sports, man. YouTube, X, Instagram, primarily the first 2. I post a lot of shit. But, I mean, if you like your content, I mean, we're pretty similar. But, yeah, we vibe a lot.
Yep. But as always, until next time, which will probably be draft time, you be easy, our friends. Later.